Vagina!
Vagina! Every time.
Uh-oh.
It's never not going to happen. I'll just have to repeat vagina over and over and over until just to make sure.
I'm going to start getting specific with parts, so.
Hyper specific.
Oh, Link is unhappy right now. I'm not really sure why. Sorry.
Oh, buddy.
I feel like a teacher just standing silently in front of the classroom, waiting for them to all settle down before I begin the lesson.
Sorry, we were talking about parts.
1, 2, 3, eyes on me.
Do let me know. Do let me know if you can hear Link, though.
I haven't heard him yet.
Okay, cool. That's
I
great.
can hear him faintly, but I'm in the same house, so
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, you don't count. You don't count.
Right.
All right, so we're gonna jump right in to. Well, I can hear you just fine. So we're gonna.
OBS. Yeah, for some reason. There we go.
Fuck you, OBS.
Yeah, screw you, OBS. All right, we're good.
All right, y'all. Welcome to session 12 of our campaign. So just real quick, I want to make two tiny little announcements, and then I'll jump into the recap. The first one is I think I've screwed up the names on a few things a couple of times, so I just want to take a moment to clarify everything, because I've changed some names, and then I'm reading it in a book, and the book has one name, and I have another name for it. So just a quick recap. Delver 10 is the name of the little frontier town that we have been spending most of this adventure in.
Okay.
Phandalin, Phandalin, Phandalin was the name of the old town. They got really, really wealthy really, really quickly, and then was destroyed. Yada yada yada. So that was the name of the town, Phandalin. Phandelver, which I'm not sure if you guys have gotten this information or not, but Koo's pretty smart, so he probably knows it at least. Phandelver was the name of the dwarf who founded Phandalin.
Got it.
Phandelver founded Phandalin a long time ago. That city was destroyed in a big raid because they got really wealthy and a bunch of goblins attacked it and wanted all their wealth. And then Delverton is the modern frontier town built on the ruins. So just wanted to clarify that really quick.
Okay.
The second thing I wanted to tell you guys is that character death is a possibility in this campaign. And now that we're level 3, I feel like we might be entering a realm where that's even more possible than it has been in sessions beforehand. So, as your DM, I love all of you guys, and I am rooting for all of you, and I swear I am not out to get you. But some of these encounters are going to start getting a little bit more deadlier, so I just want you to be aware of that. Running away is always an option. But just know
you know what?
that
I appreciate that you
happen.
brought that back up, because that is true. It is a very valid option of running away.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, let's get into our recap.
I see the tree. There he is.
The tree is back. The spooky tree. Where is it?
Spooky tree.
Spooky tree. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
I don't see him.
Look closer.
Look closer.
Wait.
I feel like majestic mountains are in the background.
What?
I don't see him.
Oh.
Look to the east. I don't know. To the right.
To the right corner.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
All right.
He's all
Last
excited.
time we all met, you all made your way back into town, where you headed immediately to Sildar. He and Harbin were found finalizing the details of the town hall that they were preparing to have the following day. And you told him pretty much everything that you had discovered, except you did keep the news about the Ethereum for Sildar's ears only. Sildar was finally able to kind of connect everything together, the connection between the Rock Seekers and why Gundren was investing so much in this project. When you finally mentioned the Ethereum to him, these rumors, these myths suddenly were being brought into the light as possible, tangible truths. You all went back to celebrate with the locals at the Stonehill Inn. You started a drinking competition. Saris taught Ku how to play the dulcimer, and Domik nearly ate his weight in food, making him a little bit sick. The following morning, you all awoke, some of you outside, some of you in beds, feeling a little bit tired, and some of you hungover from the previous night's festivities. Domik was able to meet with Sildar and was introduced to Esmeralda de Avenir, a writer for the Lord's Alliance. She wore a tattoo of a stylized eye on the back of her right palm, an image Domik had seen before. However, when he tried to ask Esmeralda more about this, she only warned him to stay as far away from this iconography as possible, hinting at the possibility that it was associated with something dangerous. Hitlin retrieved his prototype bow from Milo and tested it with satisfaction, while Ku, Staris, and Bernie were able to speak more with Sister Aradel. They learned that she had been communicating with some type of undead spirit in the nearby farmstead Conyberry, an old town that had been destroyed and left to ruin. The spirit's name was Agatha, and while at one time she had been friendly to Aradel, something had recently caused the spirit to become aggressive and hostile. Aradel warned that any interaction with Agatha may be dangerous, but if the party could find some way to show her they weren't afraid, they may be able to reason and speak with the spirit. She knew much about the forest, and would more than likely be able to lead them in the direction of the Goblin King's hidden fortress. Sildar, however, wasn't too thrilled at the idea, instead believing that taking a goblin prisoner would be more appropriate, but ultimately left the decision up to you. After collecting your gold, all 500 pieces of it, and spending some time at the town hall meeting, Domik and Ku were able to speak with Sildar some more and learn more about Esmeralda. They learned that she was one of the Vistani people, or Mistwalkers as they were sometimes more cruelly called, who possessed an innate ability to travel the mists that led to the Shadowfell, the realm in between life and death. Domik had heard the name Vistani once before in his past. However, in his time, they were a collection of special agents and security personnel that served a powerful and dark general of the army he once served in. Later that evening, Kitlin spent some time with Pamela in the stables, and Bernie attempted to treat Staris' wounds. She cast a restoration spell, but in doing so had a dark and foreboding vision of an entire forest being drained of its life. The energy seemed to fuel Bernie's spell, but at some seemingly hidden and grave cost, of which Bernie had no way of knowing. You all eventually met back up at the Stonehill Tavern and decided that after one more night of rest, you would all set off for the ruins of Conyberry in an attempt to gain more information about the Goblin King's hidden castle and hopefully get yourselves one step closer to finding Gundren. So that's where we begin our session tonight. You guys are all very cozy at the at the Stonehill Inn. You've been talking for some time. You've had some food. You've had a few drinks, and you've kind of weighed the pros and cons of your options. And it seems like finding the spirit, this Agatha, and attempting to show her that you're not afraid of her, as Sister Aradel recommended, you might be able to convince her to give you this information you seek.
Fingers crossed.
But yeah, you guys are in the tavern. It's not quite as, boisterous and rowdy as it was the night before, but there's still a decent little group of people here. It's getting kind of late. We'll say it's maybe after 10. There's been kind of lingering crowd that has drifted off. A lot of discussion about the town hall meeting that happened earlier today. You guys, though, have been mostly focused on the task that's been presented to you. So it's getting pretty late, so if you guys would like to go to bed, you can. Or if there's anything you would like to do this evening before you head off to bed, now is your time to do so.
I guess, DM, one quick question. I know point of order
Sure.
from last session, Ku and I did pull the cards out. Like, we did do that.
Yes, sorry. You did have a moment where you pulled Ku aside and finally showed him the deck that had been discovered on your person. Furthermore, something we didn't cover in the recap, you kind of told Ku a little bit more about your circumstances and situation, which is you woke up in a tomb in Neverwinter a few weeks ago, literally like days before meeting Gundren, and are still trying to make sense of why you're here and what it means and what this strange deck of cards is. And when you did do your reading, I believe you pulled the ghost card.
Correct. Ku is the one that turned it over.
Oh, so Ku kind of cut the deck, flips the top card, and it was, I'm gonna just look it up really quick to make sure
Yeah, you did. It was the image of a ghost.
right,
Yep.
but I'm trying to see like
Elevator
yeah.
music.
I love the music.
Yeah, it literally, the card was given the title The Ghost.
Ooh.
Ooh, spooky. All right. So at that point, I probably would have packed the deck up, put it away, without anybody else knowing.
Sure, that was a private moment just between you and Ku. In fact, if you just want to go, like, if you wanted that to be the last thing you did for the evening, it very well could have been. I just wanted to make sure there was no lingering business anyone had tonight before we took our long rest.
Yes, that would have been my last thing.
Copy that.
Hey, Bernie just sits at the bar. She's still drinking, kind of nursing the ale that she got a little while ago, trying to mull over what had happened in her head.
Sure.
And she finishes the last sips and kind of wipes her mouth with her sleeve and gets up and gives a nod to Staris from across the room and a little smile. And then she just kind of, goes on upstairs to get some sleep.
I think Staris will probably want to go check on Bernie.
Okay.
And just, and then also probably head off.
Very good. One by one, you all kind of peel off back to your rooms. Staris, you check in with Bernie. And you all eventually take your rest for the evening. You may all take and fulfill a long rest as you sleep pretty soundly, since this is the first time quite a few of you have slept in a bed in a couple of nights. But the day was a relatively easy one compared to some of your past days. You get a good night's sleep, and you all awake bright and early the following morning. You were told by Sister Aradel that the journey to the ruins of Coneyberry would take you probably about a day and a half, maybe even 2 days of travel. So, do you have any business you wish to tend to here in Dugton before you set off on your journey?
Oh, do we?
See, do I have a bedroll, mess kit, rations? I think I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll do like a cursory check over my inventory, making sure I have everything I need for a journey, knowing that we're going to probably be gone
Sure.
for a little bit.
Packing up your bag, checking your weapons, getting everything packed up for journey on the road.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of the lady who owns the stable that
Barton.
Elmira Barthen.
Elmira.
Elmira? Is she
And the
around when I go to
name
pick
of
up?
the stable was the Barthen's Provision. Yeah, you can set off a little earlier than the rest of the crowd to go get Pamela. You see her little farm hands, Ander and Thistle, doing some menial tasks like feeding the chickens and the goats and things like that. And Elmira is out there as well, tending to the animals and doing just general stable work. But yeah, she kind of sees you as you approach. Morning.
Right, how you going?
Another day.
Right, well, we're about to head out for the day, and just wanted to thank you for allowing Pamela to stay here these last couple of nights. Could I pay you for a bit of hay to bring with us on this travel? Just a bundle.
You see she's actually like kind of pitchforking like some bales of hay for the donkeys and some of the other larger animals and stuff, and she's like, yeah, you're taking Pamela with you, and you guys are y'all leaving for good, or are you plan on coming back? How many days of hay do you need? I guess.
Oh, probably just a couple days. Yeah, we'll find some food on the road, but just to be safe in case we find ourselves in another little dungeon.
Yeah, of course. Are you guys trying to leave right now, or
right here in a moment?
We have a little bit of time. Okay, well, you can give us like half an hour. We can get some of that ready for you, and we'll have Pamela ready to go.
Cool. I'll sort of hang out and try to help then.
Cool. And so you see that she actually, for what you guys have done, for this town, you have your saddle, and she just provides some other like bits and bobs to kind of complete the kit to make it easy to ride. Like there's a little bridle and reins, and things like that. There's like saddlebags that they've also like donated, and they filled them up with like 3 days of food for your mount. And yeah, it takes, with your help, it goes by a little bit faster. It takes like about 20 minutes. Ander and Thistle are doing a lot of the work, like baling up the hay and other like grains and whatever that Pamela can eat. And it gets it all mounted, and you see Pamela's got this nice kind of rig now that would make her very easy to ride and mount.
All right, can I pay you?
All set.
All right, can I pay you for the trouble?
I can't accept that. Not after everything you've done for this town. Please take it with our thanks.
All right. Well, much appreciated. Thanks.
Pamela looks like all happy and does kind of like a little wiggle and shake in her new stuff. And looks like she's ready to go, ready for the road.
Well, I've forgotten the good berries I promised you. We'll wait for Goo here to come back.
She gives you a playful like nudge in the back of the knee, but it's a little hard.
Also, I was looking at the Beast of the Land thing, Sean, and it says under languages, understands the languages you speak. So do I not need to use my like once daily speak with animals to talk to Pamela? I guess unless I want to hear what she has to say.
I will say, yeah. Like, so I think you guys have a strong enough bond that you can give it commands and it will understand, pretty basic and simple commands with like essentially no rules, right? If you're giving it a command that's a little bit more complex, I might ask for an animal handling check. And then if you want to just like use that once per day ability, it'll negate like any need for a check. So if you want it to be like, all right, wait here for exactly 20 minutes, and then when we come around the corner, like if you want to get like some really complicated thing, she'll fully understand it because you're using that ability. So I think we'll kind of tier it like that way, if that makes sense.
Cool. Yep. Sounds good.
Awesome. So Caitlin gets Pamela all saddled up. So as the rest of you kind of wake up and make your way back down into the bar, you see that he's already gone. You have a pretty good idea of where he is.
I think I want to check in with Sister Iredell just one more time to let her know what we're planning, and maybe she has something that we could use.
Cool. So you kind of make your way over to Sister Iredell's hut. And she's actually tending to her shrine. She's a pretty early riser. Excuse me. And she's just outside as you open the door to the inn.
Good morning, sister. Lovely to see you again.
Good morning, Stardust. It's good to see you as well.
Well, we've made a decision. We're gonna go try to find Agatha.
I will pray for your safety and wish you all the best.
Greatly appreciate that. Do you have anything that you think might assist us on our journey, or if we run into some trouble with her?
The only thing I can give you, Stars, is some advice. If that will suffice.
And rhymes as well.
You are in a very fortunate position. You are surrounded by some very incredible people. Trust in them. Trust in yourself. And I think you'll find you have everything you need.
Well, I think we can do that.
I think so too.
Well.
When you get to Coneyberry, know that what you see, you hear, what you sense, Agatha may have a way of deceiving your senses. Keep your wits about you. And whatever happens, never lose hope.
On that, I'm certain I can do.
Good luck, Stars.
Thank you, sister. And she gives her a hug.
He's kind of surprised at first by it, but then like kind of warmly accepts it and reciprocates it. And you kind of hear her whisper, Arathis, watch over her. And yeah. You have a nice tender moment with Sister Arya. And I think at this point, the rest of you are kind of making your way out of the inn. You've all checked your stuff and packed up, unless there's anything anyone wants to do privately in their room in the morning.
Probably before I leave, I'm going to see if Tobin is up and behind the bar. More than likely he is.
Yeah, he's usually the first one up.
And I'll saunter up to the front, get chat with Tobin. Like, morning, Tobin. How's the day?
No, slow so far, but I don't mind it. It's been a bit rowdy the last couple of mornings, so can I get you anything to eat? You're hungry. Rest of your group gonna be down soon, or?
I think they're gonna be heading down in a little bit. Yeah, I'll get some food while I'm waiting. But I wanted to, before we leave, because we are heading out.
He just shouts Mary's name like at the top of his lungs as the second you're like, yeah, I'll take some food, and like 30 seconds later, like a very tired Mary just shows up and like attitude, like, what? He's like, make some breakfast. And like goes in the back and like starts making stuff. And then just kind of like leans at the bar to keep talking to you.
Yeah. Well, I know. Well, I mean, I'm sure you've probably heard we're going to be heading out and trying to figure out what else we can do. Try to find Gundren and all that. But I did want to leave you a parting gift. Myself as well, and I'm just gonna pull the great axe out of my pack and kind of place it on the counter. And I say, I remember you looked at this with reverence, and I feel like you would appreciate it more than me just selling it off. But I do want to take a little bit of credit if you decide to change the name of the inn to maybe the Dragon Thrasher Inn or something. And I'll just kind of chuckle a little bit. But I'm going to leave him the great axe.
He kind of looks at the axe for a moment, looks at you. Well, I think we'll be keeping the name what it is, but this is a mighty fine tip. One of the best I may have ever received. Thank you, Dominic. He extends like a hand and shakes your hand firmly.
Yeah, and give him a good, nice, firm handshake back.
I don't know if I can bring myself to wield it again, but I think it'll look pretty good above the bar here.
Right, that's what I was thinking as well.
And he's like, "Excuse me," and he goes in the back and he gets some like tools and takes like the next few moments, kind of installing the axe over the bar and hangs it. He's like, "Yeah, it does look pretty good there."
That it does. Hopefully you will not have to wield it, but I'd rather you have something that can protect you if need be. These are trying times.
Rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Agreed.
I can respect that. This time Mary brings out the food. Oh, cool, an axe. Don't you ever touch it, boy. And hi, Luna. And yeah, as they're able to share some breakfast, and he seems very appreciative of his gift.
I did have one other question before while I was eating, and I'm going to pull out Talon and just kind of place it kind of there. I found this, and you seem to know your way around weapons. Can you give me any kind of inkling of where I could start to try to learn more about this? And I'm just start eating breakfast while he's chatting and looking over it.
Takes the blade, kind of examines it, and anybody who hasn't arrived in the bar, I think you would by now. I think Stars, you kind of maybe come in and see this moment as you decide to go talk to Sister Aradel. I think Kitlin was probably gone, like even before Dominic got down here.
Yeah.
Bernie and Koo, you eventually make your way in as Toblin is examining this blade, this rapier that Dominic found in Trustender Manor.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of looks it up and down and balances it, and gives it like a little swish or two behind the bar. He sets it back down. It's a very well made blade. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it at all. But if you really wanted to know more information about it, you'd probably have to go to the city. They've got books on everything up there.
No, Neverwinter, you mean?
Of course.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. But I think that's going to be our next big venture once we're done around here. At least that's what I'm going to hope.
You don't have to know much about it to know it's, as I said, a fine blade. And I think someone like you, Dominic, will wield it well.
Well, I hope I can do it justice, because it is a fine blade. Oh, thank you for the information. And of course, the food is wonderful as always. I appreciate it. And of course, at this point, the plate is empty.
Yeah. Do you hear that, Mary? Good job, son. Rest of you get a little bit of breakfast if you want it. Eventually, you can meet Staris and Kitland at the stables. As you begin to leave Delverton. Is there anything else anybody needs to do?
I think the only thing that I would say is that when Bernie woke up in the morning, she kind of had some restless sleep last night.
Mm-hmm.
She kept kind of waking up and looking around and sweating and trying to fall back asleep again, eventually getting a good rest. But when she wakes up in the morning, she makes sure to get her journal out, and then she writes down the vision that she had just to try and start to keep track about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then wraps that back up and goes downstairs and puts on just the jolly face that she's had and appears to be completely normal again.
Yeah, and as you journal about that vision, you know, it kind of causes you to relive it. And like you start to remember like the forest that you were standing in, like when you first had that vision, and you recognized it, like it was parts of the forest you played in. The tree, obviously you recognized it, and I think we undersold the moment, right? Like this isn't just a tree. This is even just like a big tree that you see in your backyard. Like your whole village, right, existed on this tree and like lived among the branches, and that's where their homes and stuff. I mean, it's this massive tree that's the size of a town, and to see something like that just wither so quickly, so much life gone in such a flash, it was traumatizing, and it felt so real that there's no way it can be. There's no way something that bad could happen. And then you close your journal, you put on your happy face, and you head downstairs.
I need a map.
Nice.
Of what?
Yeah. Q just retorts to himself as he walks out.
What does he need?
I need a map.
The inn.
Q needs a map of the inn?
No, of the Neverwinter Metro.
I thought we
Okay.
got one the last time, right? Didn't?
Yes, you do.
We
And
do
it's
have
on-
a map.
It's on the
Yeah.
Discord.
Yep.
Oh, cool. Okay, so we have that too. Like,
Correct.
on
Yeah,
our-
like a physical map that Q can write in.
I will say that yes, that is something Sildar would have been able to provide.
Okay.
Perfect.
Now it's so, but again, we can use the one on the Discord as like a loose reference. I have the liberty to change any of it at any time. And it, like, remember, it's not to scale necessarily. So like the 1 hex equals 5 miles. Also kind of ignore that, because I'm gonna like stretch this out and expand this, you know, where I need to.
Like
The other
guidelines.
thing I will say is like the names of the towns may not necessarily be like right. So like it says Fandolin on this, but you know that's Delverton. So
right.
I also have like the whatever, like the
I don't.
I can change it. So for example, if everybody's looking at the map on Discord right now, you can see where Coneyberry is.
Yes.
Like that's pretty relative to Delverton, right? So that's like about a 2-day journey. We can see where Neverton is. We see it's called Mount Hotanau on this map, which is the stupidest name I've ever heard. That is Mount Hotev in our world, and that is an active volcano that once erupted and actually damaged parts of Neverwinter. So like that's an example where I think that mountain would actually be closer to the city in our world than it is on the
I
map.
think it's pronounced Hottie now.
How do you know? Like that.
Wow.
Also, Ku, where it says Thunder Tree on this map, that is Rainy Hollow.
Okay.
That is the ruins you were told about when you rescued Myrna.
Nice.
So we can use this map as like a loose like reference, but things will change and shift within it, and I'll try to communicate that with you guys. And maybe I'll find a way to like doodle on this one so we can actually like notate it.
Nice.
Or
Nice.
or Ku, if you want to take it and find a way to doodle on it and make all these changes and post it to the Discord, please feel free to do so.
Okay.
Cool. So as you guys all finally kind of gather at Barthen's Provisions and you meet up with Ku, you see Pamela, she's all saddled up and like kitted out, no pun intended.
Nice.
You all kind of have you know, like this feeling of like, you know, like here we go again. And it's starting to get a little bit more and more natural and starting to feel a little bit more and more normal, I think, for each and every one of you. And as you guys all start to gather, you see that like there's actually like a small kind of crowd that seems to be kind of like watching you all leave. You see that Sildar is there, along with Harbin and Mateo. You see all the stone hills have kind of stepped out. And Elsa is actually kind of like showing up to work at this time. And you actually see as she's showing up to work, there's like this really kind of like thin, like frail, kind of frumpy looking guy like with her that like she gives like a big kiss to as she leaves, and you realize like that's her husband that you never actually met.
Another
You
person
see
we
that-
never see.
Yeah, right. You see that Myrna and Aris are there. Sister Ardell is obviously out and kind of like watching you as you leave. Milo and his wife Mildred are both kind of like sticking their heads out of the windows as you guys like make your way out. Elmira is obviously there because you're right there by her stables. You see Ander and Thistle. And a perceptive enough eye might even catch glimpses of Lenine Greywinds. However, she doesn't seem to be sending you off so much as she does appear to be connecting up what little bit of good she does have at the Lion Shield Coster. But nonetheless, a majority of the town bids you fond farewells as you set off down the road, eventually making your way back to the Tribord Trail. It takes you a few hours to make your way back to the trail proper. There is kind of a long dirt path, if you will, that leads to Delverton. But you've walked it a couple of times now. You guys are pretty familiar with it. And you make decent time.
Is that where
You
the
make
offshoot to the Goblin Cave was off of Tribord Trail?
Tribord Trail, correct. So, as you've taken this path many times before, you know that you would go to the left to eventually make your way back to the high road that leads to Neverwinter. And if you take a left, that is where it would lead back to the ambush spot.
Gotcha.
And where you were ambushed is kind of right. It was shortly after you turned onto the Tribord Trail from the high road.
Gotcha. Okay.
And now you're going right. So you're going off into like brand new territory that you haven't really ventured before. And at first the walk is pretty easy, but after a couple of hours, you get to about midday. It starts to become a little bit more mountainous, a little bit more hilly. At one point, you get a great view, and you can actually see like the rising Sword Mountains to the south, snow-capped, and just jutting up into the sky, and the massive hills that kind of lead up to them as your path then kind of sloops back down this hill and back towards the north, towards Neverwinter Wood. It's a peaceful day. It's a little cool. It's like high 50s, and but otherwise sunny and beautiful. At one point, you spot like a herd of these like large furry deer, kind of grazing, and they see you and they all turn to you and like sprint off. They have like 4 eyes that kind of like wrap around the side of their head for extra visibility to avoid predators. And as they like dart off, they leave like trails of color and like shimmering light.
Hmm.
But your journey is peaceful, tranquil, scenic, and otherwise pretty uneventful.
I think as we go, Barney's just kind of trailing behind the crew a little bit, and every once in a while she stops and she bends over and she picks up a piece of wheat or dried grass. And as they did when they began this adventure, she starts to weave together some sort of something that can be tied on somebody or something else. And every once in a while plucks some flowers and stuffs them into the little braid that she's forming, and is kind of just humming to herself in the back. Not keeping too far, but just far enough.
I love that. That also reminds me, Bernie, you have an herbalism kit, I believe, right?
Yes.
And you've depleted all of its resources.
Yeah.
I said we're basically going to use it like a healer's kit,
Mm-hmm.
essentially. And a healer's kit has, I believe, 10 charges
Mm-hmm.
that it can use. Would you like to, in addition to these kind of natural crafts that you're making, would you also like to look for ingredients to replenish your herbalism kit?
Yes, that would be awesome.
Roll me a survival check.
Okay. Ooh, 22.
Nice. Roll me. What's your wisdom modifier?
It is +3.
Roll me a d6.
4.
You recover 7 charges of your herbalism kit throughout the day as you gather these
Nice.
ingredients.
That's awesome.
Awesome. That's
Good
great.
job. I think Dominic at this
Cool.
point.
So yeah, I think every once in a while, like as Bernie's like trying to stay on the path and she makes these little crafts, she also every once in a while something catches her eye that's like a little bit further off the path, like on the edge of the forest, and she runs over and she kind of spends just a second kind of gathering a couple of herbs and stuffing them into her pouch, and then she rejoins after that, and she kind of keeps doing that throughout the travel time.
It's awesome. I love that.
Nice. I'll give you guys a little scenic.
Oh, I love that. Except for the
Oh, no.
Sildar bleeding out.
Oh.
It's not that scenic.
The path.
What have I done? What have I
done?
There you go. We're scenic now.
Less squiggles.
Yes.
Yeah, less squiggles.
Oh,
no,
the tree though.
The tree is the first thing in the picture.
It's so spooky. Look at his little hands.
I know.
Oh, little teeth.
Every so often, like every once in a while, Pamela gets distracted by like a butterfly or some flying insect and chases it and has to be kind of like redirected back onto the path. Kitlin, are you riding Pamela or are you just walking beside?
Yeah, if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. She seems to have kind of fun with it. The saddle makes it a lot more comfortable for her. And she can easily handle the weight. So, and as you kind of like play around with it, now is a good time, I think, to go over the rules of mounted combat and just mounts in general. So, as far as my understanding goes, you don't need any feats or anything to do this. However, there are some feats that might make it, might make you be able to do cool shit with it. So, once during your move, you can mount a creature that is within 5 feet of you or dismount. Doing so costs an amount of movement equal to half your speed, much like getting up from prone. If an effect moves your mount against its will while you're on it, you must succeed on a DC 10 dexterity saving throw or fall off the mount. So if I cast Thunderwave on your mount while you're riding it, you gotta pass a dexterity save or you will fall off your mount.
And then I'm prone if I fall off.
And you will be prone if you fall off. If you're knocked prone while mounted, so if you're on a mount and I use an ability that would knock you prone, you must make the same saving throw or fall off the mount.
Gotcha.
So it's possible you could like fail a saving throw that would knock you prone, but then succeed on this saving throw and stay on. So that's kind of cool. If your mount is knocked prone, you can use your reaction to dismount it as it falls and land on your feet. Otherwise, you are dismounted and fall prone in a space within 5 feet of it. So you can also do that as well.
Cool.
And I can send you all of these as well. While you're mounted, you have two options. You can either control the mount or allow it to act independently. You can control a mount. Only blah 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 blah. Yeah, you've done that. The initiative of control. This is going to be the same as yours, so that doesn't really matter. Now, because you have your ranger stuff, I also have that stuff here. In combat, the beast acts during your turn. It can move and use its reactions on its own, but the only action it takes is the dodge action unless you take a bonus action to command it to take another action. So if you are mounted, basically you will use just Pamela's move speed, your own, and then you will have your action and your bonus action. And then Pamela will always take the dodge action, essentially making her harder to hit, unless you use your bonus action to tell her to like attack or do something else.
So her maul is my bonus action?
Her maul is your bonus action. Correct. You have to give her a bonus action to tell her to maul. Otherwise, she will just dodge and try to defend herself.
Okay. The only other question I have is, I was trying to look it up, I couldn't find anything. What is the Beast of the Land's jump?
So we're gonna do this the old-fashioned way,
And if you pull up my without spoiling anything, if you can pull up my character sheet, and
give me 2 seconds. I gotta go grab a book. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm gonna go use the restroom really quickly. I'll be back.
Mounted combat.
Mm-hmm. This should be fun. So we're off to talk to a ghost. This will be great. I have totally been muted this whole time in Discord.
Oh,
Womp
that's
womp.
exciting.
I've been talking, having conversations. Nobody's been listening. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. This is story stuff. Nope, I've just been muted like a big dumb. Look at me.
No.
It's okay.
Well, we can hear you now, so that's good.
Yes,
Alright.
now you can hear me. I was like,
Go.
why is nobody answering me? Looked at Discord. I'm muted. Sweet.
Joe, are you interested in how far Pamela can long jump or how high Pamela can high jump?
Long.
Okay. So, long jump. When you make a long jump, you cover a number of feet up to your strength score if you move at least 10 feet on foot immediately before the jump. If it's a standing long jump, you can leap only half that distance. So what is Pamela's strength score?
And
I believe it is 14 plus your
2.
proficiency bonus, so 16.
To strength, yeah, so 2.
No, it's 4. I'm sorry, 14 is the score. That's the number I'm interested in. So
yeah.
if Pamela can run at least 10 feet before making
And I'm
the
just
jump,
looking at like the base one online. I don't think I have like a special Beast of the Land, right? It's just the stock one.
correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and that's what I'm seeing too. So I think 14 is right. So, which she's little, and 14 is kind of a lot for a little thing.
Sure.
So yeah, so she can jump 14 feet as long as she can run, like get a running start of 10 feet.
Yeah. Okay.
Or if it's just a standing jump, she can do 7 feet, which isn't bad.
Okay. Yeah. Sweet. And that doesn't count against movement, right? That's just its own thing.
So jump does count against movement. So if you can only move, let's say, 30 feet in a round, like in a turn, you can, and she can jump 14 feet. She runs 10 feet. She jumps 14 feet. That's 24 like feet she has moved. So she can only then move 6 more after that. Now, if you like triple someone's jump or something, and now they can jump beyond their movement speed, they can exceed it in like a single like action that allows that.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
So that's the only
so
time
you-
you're getting around, getting more movement out of the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. All right, cool.
We'll take that like on a case by case basis. Like rule of cool will ultimately win out there.
Okay.
Like full disclosure. So yeah, the day starts to drag on a little bit longer, and it starts to get to a point where you think you're gonna have to start thinking about where you're gonna make camp.
Okay. With the ultimate goal of making it to Connieberry, right? So
Honey Bear. Mhm.
how far along the trail would you say we've made it on the map, or can we tell from our position how far we've made it?
You were told it was about a day and a half to 2 days travel, so you have a feeling you won't see any indication of this village for at least another day's worth of travel.
Okay.
But so far, you haven't seen like too much sign of the only indication of like high goblin activity that you've seen is literally no one else on the road.
Right.
Yeah. It's a
All
little
right, well,
quiet, isn't it?
right. Do you think we should set up camp in the hills, do all right, or in the Netherwinter Wood? I know that it can get spooky in the woods, but might be a bit more cover.
Could also be a bit more cover for the goblins if they're out there.
No.
So what do you think?
I think finding some alcove in the hills will probably give us a better advantage than, and we're staring at the woods, making sure nobody comes out of there. That's my
That sounds
opinion.
like a good idea.
I agree.
That's good to know.
I concur and can set an alarm just in case.
Perfect. I think that would be
That's,
very beneficial.
that sure is handy, Koo, that you can do that.
So you guys decide to kind of break off the road a little bit and head south, where the terrain starts to get more hilly, to see if you can find some cover and put some distance between you and Neverwinter Woods, which is where you know the goblins are primarily operating from.
Mhm.
Smort, whoever is kind of taking the charge on this, roll me a survival check to see how good of a spot you can find.
No, I guess because it was my idea, I'll roll the survival check.
And I will cast guidance because
Yes.
there's something in the air, and I can feel it.
Okay.
We trust you.
All right. And that's a D4, right?
Correct.
Oof. Natural 1 for a 5, so that's not great.
Yay.
That's okay. I'm getting the bad rolls out now.
Here we go.
As you
And a
kind of
3.
like break off the path and head south, you see up above a thick gray cloud rolling in from the south. And off in the distance, you can even hear like faint rumblings of thunder.
Seems like
And
there's
you
rain on the
just said
horizon.
that it is going to be a wet, cold night. You decide to stick to the plan and head further south, hoping you'll find some kind of cave or cover. But unfortunately, you're not able to find anything that provides suitable cover as the rain starts to hit, and you ultimately decide to set up what little bit of camp you can as the storm gets heavier and heavier.
Oh no. That is terrible.
Okay. Let me see if I can do anything.
Do I have a tarp?
I don't know, do you?
I don't think I have a tarp.
I think
Bedrolls, mass. Yeah, I don't have anything other than a bedroll.
Do you have a bedroll?
Sweet.
as the rain starts to come in, Bernie kind of holds out her hand and feels the raindrops coming down, and she thinks for a second, and she kneels down a little bit, and she lets out a soft whistle, like a little. And as it kind of carries on the wind, there's a little bit of rustling in the distance out of the Neverwinter Wood. And a small rabbit pops up, a snow white rabbit, or actually a brown rabbit. And I'm going to use Wild Companion
Okay.
to find familiar for an hour.
Okay.
Oh,
and
fun.
Summon out a little, brown hare or rabbit from the woods.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Bernie just smiles and kneels down and just kind of motions for it to come close. We're in a little bit of a rut here. Any chance you can speak to some of your buddies and find a nice place for us to tuck down for the night?
So you summon this brown hair, this you whistle for it, but you can see that this creature's features are slightly different. The ears are a little bit longer. The fur, while brown, has these like kind of patterns in it, and you recognize that this summoned creature uh, has fey elements to it. And you make this request, and its like ears kind of perk up and stares at you attentively, and like immediately begins like sniffing the ground. Bernie, go ahead and roll me a survival check with advantage.
Come on. Okay, that's pretty good.
Nice.
Cool. 19.
Yay.
Hell yeah.
Yes,
the
survival.
the like
Yes.
Fey bunny like begins like thumper slapping his back leg like really quickly and just takes off. And you hear Bernie just like shout to you guys like, guys, follow me! And you see Bernie just chasing off this weird magical like rabbit that just came out of nowhere. And you run for like a few minutes. The rain like picks up, starts whipping you guys in the face, blowing a little bit harder. And as like you round this like big boulder, you see where like there's this outcropping of rock that provides like ample cover from the storm for all of you, and even enough space where you could maybe even get like a dry spot where you could maybe get a fire going. Uh, and the rabbit just kind of like wiggles his nose like happily.
I just kind of pull out some of the little herbs that I had gathered and just give a little bit, like in a little pile in front of the Fey rabbit, and smile down at it. When in doubt, you just kind of have to ask the locals. Bernie says to everybody as she kneels and kind of pays attention to this little creature for a minute. Also very curious about it, not quite sure like where or how it came about, but just knowing something innately about this place and having seen this before from druids from her village, she just kind of gave it a try to see what would happen. But her focus, just goes entirely on this little creature and studying it and trying to figure out a little bit more about it.
I'll also say I think there was like a compulsion, Bernie, that's hard for you to really explain. Like I think yes, there was definitely an element of like I've seen this before, maybe I can try it, but I think there was also like a pull that you felt like like almost like when you like whistle for the first time, you're like, I'm gonna just try to whistle one more time. Oh my god, I did it! Like there was something that made you feel like, hey, you can do this.
Listen,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really hard to explain. It almost. Would you consider Bernie religious?
Um, I'm not. I guess I maybe because the spirituality that's followed in her village is so there's so much belief where she comes from, kind of borderlining a religion in a way, but there's not necessarily the rituals or the same kind of like religious rituals in a sense that religions might have. Does that make sense? So it's like they're
so
very
like
deeply spiritual,
Yes.
but there's
there it
not
is. Yeah.
like they don't like go to a gather. There's not like a praying ceremony. There's not like that
It's not
kind
an
of
organized element to
exactly,
it necessarily.
exactly.
I will say this pull, this impulse, it felt, we'll say, sacred to you in
Mm,
some way.
I like that. Cool.
But you guys have a
Um,
nice cover from the storm, a very cozy spot where you could easily try to make yourselves comfortable, begin to dry off, maybe even warm up from the weather.
Cutie, Star says to the little rabbit fey creature. And she's also got like the dancing lights around. They'd been kind of running as fog lights almost like near their feet as we were following this creature. And then are just kind of now like a warm kind of candle glow around as we've made fire.
Awesome.
Nice. And it does get dark pretty quick. We'll say it's like 6. It's kind of late-ish afternoon. You didn't get as much walking in as maybe you wanted to. Yeah, we'll say a little bit later, 7:30. The storm did kind of cause you to rush a little bit for cover. Um, so it does get dark pretty quick as the thick clouds easily block out the remaining sunlight. There's a nice glow of arcane light kind of dimming up the cavern. It is still pretty windy, still pretty cool.
But it's not raining anymore.
It's still raining, but you're kind of like under this big rock
Gotcha.
that provides you cover from the storm. Seems like a good as place as any to make your camp for the night.
I'm gonna go to Ku. All right, Ku, how you going?
Yes, we shall set the perimeter. And
But real quick, I've made a promise to Pamela, but I've not made good on it. I promised her a couple good berries. Is there any way
oh,
you could help me out with that?
uh, yep, I shall cast Goodberry, which I probably should have done when we were getting hungry on the trail, but just power through as we do. And here is everyone, a little snack before bedtime.
Right, thank you.
Nice.
Thank you,
Thank
Q.
you.
And I'll go ahead and give. Did I have just one Ku, or did I get 2?
No, you get 2. One for Pamela, of course. I know how she likes them.
And then I'll go to Pamela. All right, girl. Thanks for being patient. I knew I said I'd give you this in the morning, but here's your 2 good berries. Thanks for all the hard work today. I'll give her both
She
good berries.
she gobbles them greedily, making quite a mess. In the process, you get good berry juice stains your hand, um, uh, which Pamela is more than eager to lick up. But she enjoys her treat with enthusiasm.
Delicious as always.
All right, so Q, you're setting up a perimeter, yeah?
Yes. Yeah, and it'll take me just a minute or so to cast it, and we'll make it loud. How's that?
That sounds good.
Nice.
I love
So
to
you
know when
won't
something's coming.
hear it in your head. Everyone will hear it. It'll make an audible ding.
It is a bell ringing. Correct.
Okay,
Nice.
cool. Awesome. Okay. It is, like I said, getting pretty cold. Wind is still whipping, and you're all still kind of wet from the rain. Uh, you guys just laying out your bedrolls and trying to hunker down and brave the storm as best you can? Or do you want to try to do anything to make some warmth?
Ooh. It's Are there things to burn for like a fire? Can we get a little fire going?
You could roll me a survival check
Okay.
as you just like kind of scan what's around.
Let's see. 11.
There's some small shrubs you think you could kind of like clear off and get like some small sticks for. Maybe just enough to dry yourselves a little bit, but nothing to keep it going for like the whole night. So you get a sense it's probably going to be a cold one.
Well,
As
a
long
little
as
dry
everything
is
continues
better
to
than
work
not
out.
dry at all.
We can also huddle together like penguins.
True.
I'm not sure what the penguin is, but if they're warm and fuzzy, then I'm always down.
Oh, Bernie, you would love them.
What are they?
They're these really neat, like aquatic Arctic birds.
Arctic birds.
Yeah, they like the cold.
How do they stay warm with the feathers? And that's it.
That's a wonderful question.
Well, that's a good idea. Pamela's she's already eaten for the night. We could stuff our clothes with her hay to keep a bit warmer. We've got a whole bunch in the saddlebag here.
Hey.
And I'll lead by example.
Amazing.
So I'm sorry. What was the plan? What is Kitlin leading?
Stuffing my clothes with the hay from the saddlebags.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. You do that.
And if we sleep
And
close
it's-
together, that might help.
Roll me a Constitution save.
God, that's gotta be
Kitlin.
itchy as all get out,
I
dude.
know.
That's a 4.
No.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
You take 2 points of itchy damage.
Stabbing himself with hay.
Yeah.
I think right as Kevin
No.
starts to do it, Benny's like, I would. Sometimes there's bugs. I'm not sure if just like
Yeah.
trying to stop him.
Yeah.
See, like
See.
his arms are all scratched up and
Yeah,
like starting to
yeah.
bleed a little bit,
Ugh.
shoving hay in his clothes. But you're very warm,
He's
and
warm.
you do feel dry.
Not worth it.
No, I think I'll help Staris get that little bit of a fire going and dry off just enough. I think
You
that
get
should be fine.
a dinky fire going, and it that and just getting out of the rain for a little bit, you do start to feel, you maybe like have to wring some stuff out a little bit and do what you can, but you're able to make yourselves slightly more comfortable. Fire eventually goes out. It's getting pretty late. The rain is showing no signs of stopping.
Well, do we want
Staris
to
is-
have somebody keep watch, or are we just gonna hope for the best with the alert spell? Not that I don't appreciate it. Who?
You'll see as I'm scratching.
Acting himself
Yeah.
raw.
Oh no.
I'll sneeze, and then you can see my eyes bulge a little bit,
Oh,
and then sneeze again, and my eyes bulge like way further out. And then I'll sneeze a third time, and my eyeballs will fall out of my head onto the ground. And then they'll sort of like roll like marbles, and then stop and start floating in the air. And I'm gonna cast Elevated Sight, and I'm gonna send my eyes 120 feet above me to
What did
scan
I just witness?
Yes, in a 360-degree view from its
Okay,
location.
Dominic is thoroughly freaked out at this point.
Yeah, Stars had been playing something on her lyre, and just stopped.
Yeah, 100%.
I think Benny just like leans over to Cyrus and is like, did he just die? I know he's old, but
I don't know.
Magic in this world is nothing more than the manifestation of your will into reality. And you all have a unique gift for magic. Well, not all of you, most of you. And you have found that as you continue to journey together, your abilities with magic and with this ability to manipulate the weave is becoming stronger and stronger. And Ku, I think Kitlin, this is another one of those like impulse moments where you're like, God, I wish I could just like get a bird's eye view. And as you're like having this really intense reaction to the hay, it's kind of causing you to not think so much and just like react because you're like frustrating, you're itching yourself, you're really scratchy, you're sneezing a whole bunch, and you're trying to like you know make this thought a reality. Like, how could I just see more? How could I just get a better view? And this crazy phenomenon happens where Kitlin's eyes literally pop out of his head and roll across the floor and then just float up and like magically just like vanish as they hit the rock and like reappear outside of the rock and continue to float up literally 100 feet in the air. And Caitlin, you have like, I think it freaks you out as much as it freaks everybody else out under this rock. Like, you kind of like stumble backwards and like fall on your butt. Like, you're fine because you got a bunch of hay in your pants, but you're just like freaking out as all of a sudden it looks like you have just shot 100 feet in the air and you now see all around you and have like just a great vantage point. It's dark and raining, however, so it does limit your visibility.
I've got superior dark vision, so I don't know
superior
if
dark vision. Awesome,
yeah,
because you are like
feet.
literally in a cloud. So there's also like it's just obscured as well. However, that's good to know. Roll me a perception check. I will say it was going to be with disadvantage, but we'll say your superior dark vision cancels it out. So just give me a straight perception check.
Cool. And if I'm like in a cloud or anything, I can move them around. So move it like below the cloud, or I can I can put them back inside my head if I want.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like as it initially happens, you go like straight into a cloud, and then you have to like take a minute to like zoom in and out, and you see Kitlin's like. He kind of like eventually stands up, this like eyeless version of Kitlin. Just
Kitlin, are you okay?
The rest of you are just like freaking out right now because Kitlin is just like walking around with no eyes in his head. Pamela's just like braying, like backed up into a corner. Like, what the fuck just happened? But
I've never seen an allergic reaction like this. I think Bernie gets her herbalism kit and runs over and starts to just pat him down with like any herbs that she has.
Roll me a perception check.
11.
11. Okay. You are able to kind of find a space where the clouds aren't, so much in your view, and kind of take a good look around. You can see like small shapes kind of darting around. It's nothing like nearby and nothing that seems very large. They look like small like rodents, essentially, like probably more rabbits, or gophers or things like of that nature. You can see kind of where the tree line of the Neverwinter Woods begins on the north side of the Tribord Trail. You can kind of see back to where you came from. You can't see Belverton. It is pretty rainy and pretty dark, even though you have dark vision. But that seems to indicate like that you've made some good distance. You look towards the east to where you're heading, but you don't see any sign of your destination. It seems like a rainy, dark night, but relatively safe. You don't see any immediate threats, or nothing like bearing down or stalking this particular location.
For the remaining minute of this, I want to be just looking straight down at me from above and kind of like learn how to walk with my eyes up above my head.
You see, after like a few minutes, the eyes just reappear in the cave as they like float through the boulder. What are the rest of you doing as this ridiculous moment happens?
Star's like, Kitland, are you all right?
Yep, I'm all right. I'm all right.
Yeah, he hears you. He responds completely normally.
What?
I think,
but
Dominic
I'm
was
imagining it's
probably
like
taking care
golden
of
eye
his-
controls. So I'm learning inverted controls for the first time.
I think
I gotta
Dominic
go
was
down
like,
to go up.
Dominic was just like taking care of his rapier and like cleaning it and stuff, and then just saw this happen, just stopped and was like, What am I looking at right now?"
And I think as you realize Kitlin's able to respond to you, it becomes less panic and more curiosity. And Kitlin, you describe like what you see.
Yeah, I don't see any enemies or anybody sneaking up on us. We should be all right to take a nap.
Oh, give us a warning next time before you pop your heads out of your eyes.
It's all new to me too.
Fair enough. And I think Bernie's still applying like herbs to his skin, but now in a way to help the itching rather than thinking that he's
Eyes.
dying from an allergic reaction. Yeah.
Shoving herbs into his eye holes. You see the eyes eventually like float back through the boulder that you've taken cover under and just like hover like 2 feet above Kitlin as he like slowly lifts up his right foot and then puts it down in front of him and then slowly picks up his left foot and like over time like starts walking a little bit more comfortably, and it takes a little bit of getting used to, but you are able to kind of figure it out and kind of feel your body from this perspective. Now, even though you're able to do like simple things with your eyes looking right at you, you do get the sense that like if you were in combat, this would probably completely, you know, uh, take away some of your abilities to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess as so, like my eyes are already naturally yellow, and as they like float back down, you guys can tell that these are just like glowing sort of ethereal orbs and not my actual eyeballs. And so as they like sort of go through my closed eyelids, you realize that my eyes didn't fall out, but I projected these things that are.
Wow.
Jesus.
Oh my goodness.
Do they have like little headlights, like your yellow eyes? Like, do they?
Yeah, glowing a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Little cones of
mechanically,
yellow
I
light.
want to say no because I don't want to keep our position.
Right.
I was absolutely willing to let it just be your eyes.
I mean, I want it to too, but I also want to be able to switch between my eyes in this, and I feel like.
Well, and actually,
again,
as I'm reading
mechanically-
this,
Yeah.
as I'm reading the
They're
spell, I'm
supposed to be-
realizing
They're supposed
you
to be
can.
invisible.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
do that. Like, there's behind you at any time during your turn. It says at any time at a center height.
It seems like it would be sort of like if you used a familiar to see through their eyes, you can swap back and
Yeah.
forth.
Right.
Yeah. Use a bonus action to adjust the sensor's height.
I mean, plus, if it was actually your eyes, they would get so dirty.
Right?
Well, yeah, right.
Yeah. Just rolling around on the dirt. Yeah.
While looking through the sensor, you are blind, though you can switch between seeing through the sensor or through your own eyes at any time during your turn.
Yeah. So that's basically how I'd read it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a pretty cool
Yeah,
tactical
I'll-
advantage.
I'll let that be like a free action. Mm.
Well, if his
Yeah, that is cool.
Kitland says that with his floating eyes he didn't see anything, I'll take that as a good sign. I guess we'll all get some rest tonight. I don't know how good it will be with the storm it is outside.
Aye.
Alright, well, Pamela's got old Plop or Flop's scent, so if he comes sneaking up on us, she'll let us know.
Maybe if we all cuddle up with Pamela, it won't be quite as cold.
If Pamela's okay with it, we're not gonna just throw ourselves all over her, I'm sure.
I'm sure she'd be all right with that. Pamela? That's a yes.
Oh.
Aw.
Well, all right. Night time, Pamela.
Starts wagging her tail.
Yeah, Bernie goes over to Pamela and
Yep.
kind of saddles it next to her, and
Right on. You guys all cuddle up.
Yeah, Stars follows.
Yes.
And one by one, you drift off to sleep. You get the storm covering you. You had Koo's alarm spell set up. Kitlin's got a bird's eye view. Everything seemed all clear. You all felt pretty safe. And all fell asleep. About 4 o'clock in the morning. The rain has stopped. And you each wake up to a very loud alarm spell going off. Suddenly jolt awake, terrified by Koo's spell going off, signaling that something has crossed the threshold into your cave. You jolt forward and you all see tiny little gopher staring at you all, just as terrified as the five of you.
Why?
Because it came into the cave and set up the alarm.
Why?
that's so good.
You wake up and you have this moment of just like, like ready to go into action. Your adrenaline pumping, and you see this adorable little creature just absolutely terrified as all of you. Its little heart beating rapidly in its chest, and just like as Pamela gets up, she just kind of like snorts, and the thing just parts off in the other direction and is gone. You get a moment to catch your bearings. You realize that the rain has stopped, but it's still like the middle of the night. So you haven't quite completed your long rest. But we're gonna go ahead and take a quick little 5-minute break there, so I can get myself another beverage and use the restroom. And then we'll come right back up and wrap this up.
Cool.
Cool.
Noise.
Gopher.
Gopher.
It gophers every time.
God dang gopher.
You're supposed to go underground, gophers.
What are you doing
That's
above
right.
ground,
What
gopher?
are you doing above ground?
Not telling you how to live your life, please. Just, know that the options are still there for you.
Stay in your lane, gopher. Underground.
Okay, actually, all I needed was to get some water, so like I'm good to keep going.
Actually, no, I've got to go to the bathroom. I'll be
Okay, yeah. Go use the bathroom. Go do what you got to do, y'all.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna grab a beverage. Ha. Be back.
Oh,
Ha.
we're gonna get inebriated tonight.
Nice.
I see old Lop Lop has left the chat.
Plop plop. Oh, yeah.
No, has he? He didn't like this one, huh?
Yeah, this one wasn't as good.
That's fine.
All right, we're just getting started.
That's true. Oh man. I'm not looking forward to going and hanging out with a race. That'll be great.
What was you talking about?
So,
yeah,
John,
exactly.
with that elevated sight
Mhm.
in future for battle stuff.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I think I misspoke. I think you will be able to use that in battle.
Cool. So I can still like shoot my arrows because I don't concentrate on that, right?
You don't concentrate on shooting. That is a concentration spell, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you get hit, you were concentration checks, you might lose it. But yeah, I think you could like throw it up, like if somebody was like hiding and like try to get like a
Yeah.
better view of them, and then like go back and like arc your arrow or something.
Yeah.
I think it would work. I mean, you're already a sharpshooter, so you already get like around a lot of that stuff anyways. But I
Ignore
do
cover.
think like using it as a way to get like better perspectives of where things might be hiding or trying to find hidden creatures, like absolutely that would like give you advantage or something on that.
Cool.
That's awesome.
I'm back.
Welcome.
Plop,
Lop Lop.
Welcome back, y'all. All right.
Has Lop Lop returned? He has returned. Hello, Lop Lop.
Lop lop.
Okay.
I think he's just muted, just listening.
He's muted.
Yeah, just lurking.
Or-
It's okay. A lurking.
Sorry.
There we go. Sorry, y'all.
There
Um,
he
Good luck.
is.
Sorry, having computer problems.
All good.
No worries.
So I haven't caught the last bit. My computer died. I had it
Oh, no.
charging and it died anyway. So, sorry, y'all.
Thanks, computer. Yeah, it's all
No,
good.
you're
Yeah,
all good.
way to go,
It's-
computer.
it's-
Props
it's
to you
mostly-
for listening in.
It's mostly been goofs.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
good. I figured there was a little bit of cool.
yeah.
I
Nothing
haven't missed any,
combat-wise yet. No,
Battling with Agatha.
not yet.
No.
Nice.
I popped my eyes out of my head and threw him 100 feet
Oh.
in the air.
I
You
did
did
get
that.
to hear that. That was sweet. Heck yeah. I've never
But then
heard
I
of that
just noticed
spell
that I
before at
called
all.
Yeah.
I still don't know the name of that goblin, but I don't want to learn it. But Flop Plop, whatever his name is,
Yeah.
and then I'm just calling Lop Lop. Like, does Larkin know if I'm talking to him or mispronouncing that character's name?
Plop Plop is the next version.
Pretty sure his name was Droop.
Yes.
So like nowhere close to Lop
Not
Lop.
even,
Yeah.
not even close.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Uh,
That tracks, old man. Tracks, old man.
right.
Yeah.
Where's Lop
Alrighty.
Plop?
Bloop slop. Where is it? I need some soup.
Where's soup?
Flip Janet McQueen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
We're gonna head out into the mountains. We're gonna get us some soup, and then we're gonna eat it, and it's gonna be great.
I mean, mountain soup really is good this time of year. So
It's true.
Mountain soup.
Oh, yeah.
You should be
Well,
looking for
soup
mushrooms
stew.
and getting us some mountain soup, Bernie.
Ooh, that's a good call. New quest, new side quest acquired.
Find all the mushrooms.
Go for
There
soup.
are 999 mushrooms hidden in this campaign.
Oh my
All
God.
of them.
Don't say that.
Do they look like gold poops?
I'm going to find them all.
Oh my god. Side quest unlocked.
yeah, they make an irritating shrill noise when you approach them.
That's right.
Yeah, but I'm gonna take like a Borderlands approach to it. And,
Oh.
like, they're all just gonna be in one location.
Got it. Yeah. All 999.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
On top of the mountain peak. That's where they are.
Mushroom Mountain.
Yeah. Mush Mountain. Here we come.
Mushroom.
Butcher.
Candy
Army
Mountain.
Matt is kind of funny.
Charlie. Candy Mountain, Charlie.
We're waiting on Dre, right?
I think we are, yeah.
she's
Okay, cool.
taking, like, I'm gonna
Oh.
go check on her. I'll be right back.
All good.
I just got the Expedition 33 game.
Oh, I heard it's amazing.
So far, it's really good. I
Oh.
just started it before we came on tonight, but like that, it was very cool. The combat's really cool. It's like
Yeah.
turn-based, but it also has some like active input that you have to be like
Quick
ready.
time events, baby.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
beautiful, and the music's amazing, and like
One of my coworkers got it, and he was like, "Dude, you have to get this game." I was like, "Fuck! I just bought more games. I can't. Like my backlog is so full right now."
I think this might be one that I play all the way through. I'm
Yeah.
excited about it.
Awesome. Yeah, I did
That's
that
cool.
with what was that one that just came out? Oh, the one from Atlas. I forget the name. It's some weird name. I don't know. Whatever. The
Is it
Atlas
like
game that just
a
came out.
yeah.
Atlas. Metaphor.
Oh, okay.
Metaphor
heard of that before.
Refantasio. It's basically like Persona meets medieval like aliens and all kinds of weird shit. So it's pretty
Cool.
good. I've gone like all the way through it, but it ramps up pretty drastically pretty quickly.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like it's very grindy where I have to go and sit and like go through dungeons and killing the same thing over and over again, try to get levels. So
Yep.
How did we cut
Yeah, it's funny how a lot of old games are that way, and then it feels like overall games have gotten less that way, you know? As
yeah,
far as the
yeah.
amount of grind. Maybe it's just the stuff I've been exposed to, but yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I
it's
think you're
weird.
right. I think it's just this recently people don't have the time to sit there and grind. Like, but back in the day, we grinded all day. Final Fantasy VII was my jam, and I grinded the crap out of that
was
game.
the joy.
Oh, yeah.
You remember tilting the joystick so your character would just run around in
Constantly.
circles
Yep.
with repels on so that you're gaining gold and XP?
Yep. Exactly.
Whoa. All right.
Oh yeah, I remember all that. I remember the grind.
Oh yes.
Oh man. All right, who's ready to fight a race? I am.
Luck, y'all.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
dude.
You know what? Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll just talk our way out of it.
Hey, I
Maybe
hope
it'll
so.
all be fine.
I, as a player, am hoping so. Dominic, on the other hand, does not think this is going to go very well.
Well, I took some unnecessary hay damage, so let's keep that in mind.
Hey,
I wonder if with this long rest, quote unquote, you gain the health back, but I don't know. Maybe you might just be stuck with those -2 hit points.
All right. Let's
Fucking
get
mites in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
mosquito bite damage.
1,000 mosquitoes.
Oh,
Don't
that'd
worry.
be horrible.
Don't worry. The mosquito fight is coming.
I also love that the last time I took damage, I was bit by a bird. So I'm not...
Your track
Have I really
record-
like not damaged you all campaign?
No, I get hit early in the goblin fight, but I've avoided most of it.
I love that.
Yeah,
Now the
that
DM is just
sharpshooter.
Sean's just gonna whittle you down now.
Yeah, dude.
Outside of combat.
The sharpshooter at level 1 was like.
Yeah,
I really want to have
clutch.
like a really really long battle map that I do with you with like another sniper, and it's like enemy at the gates,
Oh,
like style, like
God.
battle that you guys have.
Oh my gosh.
Man, that'd be wild.
Sean, actually, this is a good point. I have a question about the materials gold thing one more
Oh, right.
time. So there was a spell that I originally prepared, and then I realized that I would need 200 gold's worth of like components for it. So does that mean
Okay.
that I need to just hold off until I have like 200 gold in components, or
But yeah, you would need the components,
Okay.
and so when
Cool.
you guys find, like just material components that I give a gold value to,
Mhm.
you can total them up however you want. But the trick with them is that like they're chunks, that like are that chunk. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
No, that's perfect. Like I have the
Right.
100 gold worth pearl, and then I have like I think I have like 16 gold and other components right now in my bag.
Right.
So it's like
right,
ultimately all of that needs to add up to what the
right.
spell would cost.
But you
Follow-up
you can use
question.
gold as that too, or it has to be the worth
No, it
component.
has to be.
That's
It
for
has to be the spell component.
materials.
Gotcha. Um,
Wait, hang on really quickly, Joe. Sorry. Just one follow-up question to that. If the materials don't have a gold value attached to it, do I have to find that material, or is there like an average amount that we're going to apply, like
Yeah.
gold
So if they
wise?
have a like material component, um, as long as you have a spell casting focus,
Hmm.
that kind of mitigates that need for that material component.
Okay, cool. Cool, cool,
I am
cool.
not interested in tracking like every individual, component that is needed for every spell because that's
Yes.
just literally my personal health. So I imagine you have like a sprig of mistletoe or some kind of item. Like for Ku, for example, it's his spell book.
Yep.
That's where a lot of that power comes from. For Bernie, it's literally her instrument, which is her voice. Um,
River
so
Stars, yeah.
or for Saris, I'm sorry.
I was gonna
I
say
think
for Bernie, it's her glorious beard.
That's
Yeah.
right.
My
or
magical
or
beard.
the flowers that you have like grown within them. Like it could be
Mhm.
that, like whatever you want it to be. But you should specify that and let me know what that is for you.
I think it's actually right now her staff. I think the staff that she
Okay,
carries with her is her
cool.
focus. Yeah.
Is it like a walking stick, kind of like Gandalf style?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a jagged, like, yeah, just piece of wood that has a gnarled
Mhm.
top kind of situation and some leaves
Yeah,
like sprouting out of the top.
it's a really good stick. It's like one
It's
of
a
those.
good stick.
Yeah,
well, I
gotcha.
was about to
Um,
say,
Solid.
I've got consumables, Abigail. If you want to just take mine, I don't know if we can share them. Surely we can
absolutely.
in game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever you want to give to somebody else, you can give to somebody else.
Yes,
No,
I
it's
have.
in your inventory.
How many more do you need?
Well, right now I'm at 116 and I would need 200. How much do you have?
I need
I've
another
s- I've
84.
I have 70.
Oh,
It'd be
And I
14
have
short.
56.
interesting.
I have 16. So
Yeah, I have 16 as well.
All right.
I think it's fine for now. I think that like, yeah, we can figure it out later. But I think I'm good for now. I mean, I didn't prep that spell anyways because I didn't have the gold. So,
Gotcha. Yeah.
but thank you.
So were we talking gold or
Long rest.
Talking
Consumables.
about
spell
consumable? Okay,
components.
Yeah.
gotcha.
gold.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
All right, I wasn't sure. Thank you.
Um, so you guys wake up. It is like kind of like the middle of the night. Well after midnight. This poor gopher just got terrified to shit. By Ku's alarm spell and realizing it had come into an occupied cave. The rain stopped. And it seems like for some time now you can hear the sound of bugs, night creatures around you. What is everybody's active perception check?
Uh,
Or I'm sorry, passive. That doesn't make sense.
13.
13.
Anyone got higher than a 13?
I have a
14.
14.
Or sorry, no, I have 12. Sorry.
Okay.
I have a 14. I am the highest, it
The,
looks like.
the 14s and the 13s, you can hear just very faintly off in the distance the sound of like wings flapping. Sound kind of large.
That's not good.
You hear that too?
Yeah, sounds big, doesn't it, Burn?
Hey,
Aye.
oh, it's gonna.
Lens,
Ugh. I
what are you
hear.
doing with your eyeballs right now?
Shit, do you want me to use them again?
I mean, if you can, it might be beneficial. It sounds like something big is flapping towards us.
Um,
Just keep it.
I'll
Point of order: you haven't finished your long rest yet, so you will
Yeah.
get everything once you do.
I'm gonna cover my mouth with the bedroll to try to muffle and sneeze and there's, you've seen like the Guinness Book of World Records, people that can bulge their eyes out.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a horrifying image.
I'll sneeze 3 times and ding, and then I'll roll on the ground and then
I
like
will
magnetic balls.
never be
Oh,
okay
God.
with this.
I'm sorry. I just Googled Guinness World Record eye bulge.
Oh no.
It does strike a specific tone, yes.
I will sort of like pop my head out of the cave so that they can go straight up, and then I'll pop my head back in so that they're just above me, unless they can they go through the rocks? Is that what we were talking about before? I figured they couldn't do that, right?
Let me read the spell again. Oh.
I will never get. I can never not see this. This is terrifying.
Before I woke up, I was having a nightmare about it. Honestly,
I agree. This seems just like a living nightmare. I don't
Yeah,
understand.
Yeah, we'll say that no, it cannot go through solid materials. That was just like a funny goofy thing.
But so then like once I lean my head back in, they'll still be above
Yeah.
me and I'll be under the cave.
Yeah, well, and you can like also because it looks like you can sensor moves with you, retaining its height in relation to.
Yeah.
Oh,
So like when my body goes back in the cave, they'll be above the cave, but I'll be in
absolutely.
the cave.
And again, it's more like a big like rock that you're kind of under.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, easy
But
enough
I'll
to
stay.
get it over the rock and then scoop back under it. And your eyes start to float up. It is still pretty dark out. I know you have excellent dark vision, but roll me a perception check.
$11.
You look around, kind of in the sky, and this spell lasts for a minute. You're glancing, you don't see anything, and then as you kind of look further south towards like the large mountains, you see a shape like begin to like swoop down like the side of the mountain that, from your best guess, wingspan of at least 60 feet, and then the spell ends.
Awesome.
I'm gonna hide up in the rock a little bit. Just scoot back, and I'll try to like kind of pat on Pamela to scooch back as well.
Kitland, what's going on?
Well, there's something big, and it's headed our way. Everybody get up against the cave wall.
Right, yeah. Listen to him.
Yeah. And
Uh-huh.
Barney's gonna stand up and crouch on the back of the cave wall.
And the fire is out at this point, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, the fire was out a long time ago. It was a small, tiny little thing. Who did you want to say something?
Yeah. Do we want to hide?
Oh yes.
Sure, yeah. That sounds great.
I know just the spot. And I grab the rope that's attached to Kitlin's grappling hook, and I toss it up in the air, and it kind of disappears into the rock. And Ku climbs this up into the rock and disappears into the rock.
What? What do you mean?
All right, so that eats something
he sticks
weird
his
for
head back
lunch.
in. And I think we'll be safe here.
What?
What is this?
Okay. Eyes are popping out of heads. People are disappearing into rocks. What is happening right now?
Our pets' heads are falling off.
Do we follow?
Are we meant to climb up there, Koo?
Only if you want to be safe.
All right. And Barry's gonna start climbing the rope.
Yeah, Dominic does too.
Who, as they enter this little extra-dimensional space that you have created within the rock, it's small. It looks like you could maybe fit about 8 people in here. What does it look like to them?
It is fairly plain and simple. It is
Okay.
You enter basically a stone like conversation pit where it is just like stonework bench all around you, because that is where this rope trick spell has created this kind of extra dimensional space.
Takes the form of the like space it utilizes, essentially.
Correct. I could throw this up into the air, and we might possibly be in a cloud. Although I have not tried, so I do not know.
Cool.
This is experimental. Yes.
Cool. So yeah, you go in, and it's literally it's like, maybe 6-foot tall ceiling and like a maybe 10 by 10 space with just like a stone bench all the way around as you literally enter this extra dimensional pocket dimension.
Can Pamela reach this place?
Pamela cannot, unfortunately, climb ropes.
I was gonna say.
How high up is it?
We'll say 6 feet.
Okay, she can jump vertically 7. Is that right, or is that just that's only the long jump, right? What's the height jump?
Ooh.
The standing jump. I have it right here. Make a high jump. So what is her strength modifier?
My strength modifier is +2.
Yeah, hers, Pamela's. I think
it's +2.
Yeah. So when you make a high jump, you leap into the air a number of feet equal to 3 plus your strength modifier if you move at least 10 feet on foot. So she could get 5 feet vertically if she gets a running start, or 2.5 feet if it was just standing.
2.5 times 3. All right.
7.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna. And you said it's 6 feet. And there's room for her in there.
She would count as 2 creatures. It's room for 8. There's 5 of you plus her 7. Yes.
Since I'm not in there yet, I'm going to touch her and cast jump on her, and then tell her to jump into the thing with us.
That is amazing.
Help her and jump up there with you on her back.
Sure. I mean, unless it.
I'll let you.
Yeah. Okay. Then yes.
And it's cool. You see Caitlin just like put his hands on Pamela, and she kind of like shimmers with like arcane power, and he like leaps on her back, and Pamela just standing there like wiggles really low, and like a cat just like leaps, just bounds 6 feet easily, and like lands on her feet and like kind of like gets on one of the benches. You have to duck just a little bit, only because your hat is so tall. But otherwise, you guys are able to get in the space.
Oh my gosh, that is ridiculous.
In about the last 10 minutes, I've learned so much about everybody.
I think Cyrus was really like freaked out by this whole situation that was happening, and like crouched down to like to 5 feet, and like just conjured up like the stone, like a mirror of the stone cave where they were. We're like, what the fuck? What is happening? And is like finally convinced when she sees Pamela jump up with Caitlin on her back into this space, like, okay, and then climbs up the rope.
Amazing.
And we can see out through this space for an hour in a 3 by 5 foot window where the rope came in from. So we kind of have like a floor view
Yeah, the
of
floor
what's
right,
under
like,
us.
in the middle of the benches is literally transparent and looks back down like the small little campsite you just all were sleeping in. Who was the last one up the magical rope?
I think stars.
As you like climb, like right before you like get like into the hole, you do see like a large shadow just in the darkness, just kind of like fill the land outside as you get
Does
into
it
the hole.
look like a dragon?
You can only see just like a faint shadow in the moonlight
Something
outside.
flying large.
Um,
What's that?
is Staris curious enough to try to stick her head out and climb back down the rope?
Maybe not. Mm-mm.
Climb back inside the extra dimensional space instead. And for at least the next hour, you are able to remain in here.
Can they hear us in here?
I don't know. Can they hear us? They?
Who can you hear
Whatever's
us?
outside?
Yes.
Can they hear us?
Oh,
You can hear her.
this is
Can
how
they hear
it's
us?
yeah, I know, right?
Cool, do you know if they can hear us from outside of this space?
I do not believe I don't believe so.
This is
But
incredible.
attacks and spell. So it says attacks and spells can cross through the entrance or into the space, but those inside can see out of it through the rope window,
Mm.
and then
the spell,
anything inside drops out when the spell ends.
since the spell doesn't specify anything
Specify,
about
yeah.
sound, I will say that you aren't sure if sound can travel through or not.
Yep.
Okay. Right.
Now, let's see. So he threw it up and like over the cave? Or just up into like the ceiling of the cave, essentially?
Yeah, kind of up into the ceiling of the cave.
Okay, got it.
The rock, the big rock.
Yep.
That you're under.
Yeah. The outcropping.
Yeah. A still pretty exposed space, just big enough rock to all be under and stay dry. Yeah, you guys spend the next hour just kind of very silently staring at each other. And like Bernie said, just kind of processing everything you've learned about each other in just another simple day of travel. These strange gifts that you all seem to be set to possess. It is getting close to the end of the hour.
I'll say to Q. Q, I noticed you used the grappling hook that you lent me. Do you not have a rope of your own?
No, I don't think I have one.
I've got me extra rope. Unless you want the grappling hook better, I've had quite a bit of fun with the grappling hook. But if you want it back, you say the word, or you can have me other rope.
Yeah, I'll just take the other rope. You're more of the grappling hook type.
Right.
I'm more
I
of the
appreciate
hook
that.
type guy.
I'll give you my regular rope, 50 feet.
Nice.
Do we think it's safe yet?
Who will say because I don't care about that extra 10 feet that works.
Yep.
But just know that you're limited to 50 feet instead of 60 feet, like the spell says.
And that is more than fine. For simplicity's sake, I don't know why they didn't.
Right. Like,
Market to-
all rope in the game is sold in 50-foot
50
increments.
feet.
And the spell tells you need a 60-foot long
That's
rope.
keep
funny.
rope in your
It's
your values. Yeah, that's
It's
it.
the biggest troll spell in the entire game, and I love it.
You need the special rope.
Yeah.
I get another rope. I get the mending cantrip. I fuse 2 pieces of rope together.
Nice.
Um, before the spell ends, do we seem safe now? Does it seem like it's gone?
You've been kind of cowering inside of a rock this whole time, so you can't
No
really
other,
tell. But you
no
haven't.
shadows or anything?
So you couldn't tell from your vantage point because you're just literally looking right down, like kind of where you were all huddled up against the wall. Whereas like Staris could see like the landscape beyond the cave as she climbed in. So, but I will say from your vantage point, you haven't heard or seen anything in the last hour.
Okay, I'm gonna start unhooking all of the hay attached to Pamela's saddle and dropping it where we're about to land, and I'll include the hay that's inside of my shirt.
Cool.
Ah,
Caitlin makes
Sweet
a
Caitlin
small pile of hay.
straw.
That I will say it's not like it's a good amount because it's like food for a few days, but like it's a small pile, so I'll say it's like maybe enough for you and Pamela.
Can I try to hold on to the rope as this kind of dimension space?
Isn't it attached to my hip?
I'm assuming when he took it from your person
Okay,
and just like,
gotcha.
threw it up into the air. So like the
Okay.
grappling hook is like inside the extra dimensional space with you guys, and the rest of your rope is just like hanging fully suspended up here, even though the like grappling hook isn't taut to anything. And
Gotcha.
just kind of coiled on the ground below you.
Okay.
Yeah, the spell is coming to an end. Are you all just gonna like stay up here and drop, or do y'all want to climb down the road?
Well, I think it's been long enough. Domic's gonna climb down. I think we're
Yeah.
safe for now.
no, yeah.
Yeah,
Kinda.
I'm gonna climb down. I'm gonna put my bedroll for Pamela also. I'm gonna try to get as big of a cushion. We want no
Awesome.
damage.
Here,
I
mine.
love
Have
it.
mine as well. And Stars throws hers into the pile to make a cushion for Pamela.
What did she throw in the pile?
Oh, another
Bedroll.
bedroll. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Red rolls for
That's good.
Pamela.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. All right. Well, Dominic, you go down first. Uh, it seems clear to you from the from underneath the rock, from what limited view you can see and have.
Kind of listen out, see if I hear
Okay.
anything
Roll me a
as I
perception check.
as I slowly kind of come down. Perception. It's an 8.
Mm.
You hear a lot of like chirping of like crickets and things like that, but nothing like what you heard before all of this. Nothing like the sound of wings flapping or anything like that.
If there's animals and insects around, that's kind of a good sign. I don't think there's any danger around. All
All
right.
right.
I'll kind of whisper up a little louder. All right, I think it's clear.
Okay.
Yep. Then I'll
Stars
continue
comes
with the bedroll plan after
Yep.
that.
You guys are just like hunkered down, like braced, ready to drop. You got like a few minutes left before the spell ends by
I think-
Ku's calculations.
I think Bernie go on, and she climbs down the rope
Okay.
and gets back in the cave next to Dominic.
Cool. Yeah, you hear the same thing Dominic does. Seems okay, but there is kind of like a tense energy very much still in the air.
Can I place my Bernie's just gonna kneel down for a second,
Mhm.
and kind of make like a hush noise to Dominic just in case, like up at him, and place my hand on the stone floor, and use my stone sense to sense all around us, and use my tremor sense to see if I can find anything.
Yeah, you kind of attune yourself to like the vibrations of the ground as you touch this rock, and you can feel like a massive kind of like echo off of this stone because of how big it is and how embedded it is into this earth. much like the roots of a tree, it sends kind of like a wide vibration. And you can feel all like the footfalls of like the little gophers and rabbits and other little rodents that come out at night. Um, yeah, like pitter pattering all around you. And much like Domic's intuition, you get the sense that if all these rodents out, these prey creatures, so to speak, are out, chances are there isn't a threat in the sky. Nature seems to be telling you that the coast is clear. In other words.
Awesome. Hey, good call, Dominic. All right. It should be all good, like Dominic said.
All right.
Stars is already down there.
Staris is already down there, and Ku, you decide to hang on to the rope as the spell ends, and the last few seconds of the spell, 3, 2, 1, extra dimensional space blips out of existence, and you both just fall. Kitland and Pamela, with everybody's help, there's enough betting that, and the fall is only 6 feet high, that you land with a bit of a thud, but comfortably enough, and maybe bruised but not damaged. Um, Two, however, you just kind of hang onto the grappling hook as the spell ends with like your feet dangling over the hole, and the rope just falls. Like gravity just fully takes it, and you just plummet the 6 feet down. It's gonna be halved, but roll me a d6.
Boom.
All right, you're gonna take 2 points of bludgeoning damage after your long rest as you wake up with a very sore tailbone. But otherwise, you guys are able to try to continue finishing your long rest, unless there's anything else you would like to do, as it seems like the threat has moved on.
No, I think
Yeah.
I'm good.
All good.
Cool. All right. You wake up the next morning pretty early. You can all finish a long rest. Change up any spells you need to for our druid, I believe. Ku, like I said, you will, after finishing your long rest, take that 2 points of damage as your tailbone is very sore from falling on it from the night before. But otherwise, you are able to fully complete your long rest and restore all of your abilities and spell slots and who's it's and whatnot.
And breakfast is served. Good berry. Everybody gets a good berry.
These are the
You
most
guys-
amazing things.
And Pamela gets 2.
Nice.
You guys ever eat like way too many Pop-Tarts like consecutively? Like you get like a box of strawberry Pop-Tarts and you're like, oh, well, I guess I'll just have Pop-Tarts every morning for the next like 7 days. The first Pop-Tarts, great. Second Pop-Tarts, great. Third Pop-Tarts, great. Fourth Pop-Tarts, they're okay. You're getting to like 6th, 7th Pop-Tart territory.
Oh my god.
I'm not gonna eat my good berry right now.
I mean, I had breakfast at the pub yesterday, so I mean, I'm good.
Or I guess that is a good question. Are we hungry enough that we need to be eating these?
But here's the
I'm
thing
hungry
about food and hunger and all that jazz. I am as interested in role playing with it as you guys are.
Gotcha.
So if you guys want to like really make, finding ways to have meals together, because I think those can be great role playing moments, I am into that if that's what you guys want to do. I'm going to assume that you're adults and you have rations or you have good berries or you have something that you're doing to like nourish yourself throughout the day. But I don't necessarily need to role play that every single day with you guys.
Gotcha.
That's fair.
But if y'all are interested in that, tell me. We'll totally do it. That's kind of how I feel about like tracking hunger. Unless we like find ourselves like if y'all get like shipwrecked on a deserted island, then that might be a fun mechanic that I'll introduce.
Yeah.
But I'll let you know. Okay, now I'm playing with this like new rule or something.
Cool.
Good berries for
but-
life.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why we like
Um,
good berry. It just nourishes you.
That's right.
Just enough.
you guys are able to get an early start the next morning with maybe some hesitation from a few of you, maybe not. Definitely, I think a few more eyes on the sky as you get started, but you see no signs of any giant flying creatures as you begin your journey. You eventually make your way. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Can we go back one moment? That's why I wanted to hold on to the rope until the end. After everyone had left, I wanted to say, "Can you all hear me?" And then the rope.
Oh,
Yeah.
smart.
Smart. Yes, they could. So,
Okay.
as Ku asked, "Can you all hear me?" You said yes, and then the spell ended.
Super smart.
Well, worth it. Good to know. Thank you.
My hurt bum was good for science.
That's for
It is
nothing.
science bum.
It's a science bum.
Hi. The science arse.
He has no home and will take your copper.
That's right.
Oh my.
I believe Dominic is probably going to be very on edge. Just, definitely keeping an eye out more while we travel.
100%.
Yeah.
And as you kind of scan the landscape, doesn't seem like like there are no scars. If that makes any sense, right? Like,
Yeah. It
for all
doesn't
intents and
seem.
purposes, it looks like nothing happened.
Yeah. So at that point, I guess Dominic would be like, "All right, well, did we really? But Bernie and I both heard it. So are we going crazy? Like, what's happening?" That's going in through his mind now. Like, okay, there's no disturbance to anything around us. Did we actually see something?
Well, I saw something, and it looked to have about a 60-foot wingspan. Does anybody know what might have a 60-foot wingspan?
It's a
In
very
this
large
box?
creature.
I mean,
Any of you who are trained in nature or Arcana may roll an Arcana or nature check.
yeah, I mean, I have Hunter's Bane, and so I have advantage on anything that's Fey, Fiend, or Undead.
Okay.
I have a Deft Explorer.
So, Dominic, your ability would not help you with this.
Okay.
Other than if you want to, you could make I'll say like an Arcana or religion check if you wanted to think of any like Fey or fiends that
I'm okay with
potentially.
that. Because I have proficiency in Arcana, so.
But I will say you don't think there would be that here, like that.
No.
Like you can think of one, but it wouldn't make sense to see one here.
Yeah.
Essentially,
With his training and what he's seen, it wouldn't make sense for it to be around now.
and then Caitlin, what do you have?
Deft Explorer, but I spent my whole life exploring caves, but I could have heard of other things outside of caves.
Yeah, you had access to books, but Deft Explorer, like, is that like your terrain, like favorite terrain type kind of thing?
It
Or
says you're an unsurpassed explorer and survivor, both in wilderness and in dealing with others on your travels. But I also spent 172 years in a cave.
yeah. I think no, that just gives you the skills that it gives you. Deft Explorer, like that just gives you the Elvish and Northern Tongue and the athletics.
Gotcha.
And all that stuff. I think.
I mean, it's the only thing that bothers
But
me
I will
about
say,
it.
I will say before RP too heavily after asking for a roll is that with Bernie's 17 in nature, you have heard stories of birds that live near tall mountains that could possibly get as large as Kitlin says, although you've never seen one of that size.
I've heard tale.
They were called rocks.
I've heard tale of large winged creatures, kind of like giant eagles or birds. I call them rocks. I could see perhaps a couple of them hanging around these areas.
Right. Are they friendly?
Not quite. It's like calling a wolf friendly, right? It's not necessarily unfriendly. It's just it's got its own desires, and it's gonna do that just as any other wild creature would do it.
Does it eat gnomes?
What's a nom? Oh, a gnome. It might if it's hungry enough, to be honest. But I think more than that, it could definitely have a snack out of all of us. Might be a good idea to keep our eyes to the sky as we continue forward.
I agree. That was my plan when we started headed down, just kind of keeping a vigilant eye now. I don't know, it just throws me off that the rest of the ecosystems weren't affected by it. You would think that they would have left some sort of, I don't know, lasting, not damage, but effect on the area around it if something that huge went by us.
Right. Well, is it
Not
worth
if it was just flying
going
by.
up to the top of one of these hills and looking for scat or dung or burn patches?
Do we really want to commit the time to look for this, or do we want to keep going? It's just kind of something that I was thinking about. I think we dodged a bullet with that one, if it was real, to not have dealt with it. I think that was a great call on Ku's part to get that space.
Right.
Right, let's continue on then.
Agreed.
I think if anything, let's just keep a low profile if we can.
Very well. You all sort of leave the cover of the large rock that you had managed to stay safe in all night, thanks to Bernie's mystical bunny and Ku's quick thinking. You make your way back to the Triboy Trail, which is just a quick hike from where you had been staying. No more than like 30, 40-ish minutes. And find the road solidly beneath your feet, still pretty early in the morning, eager to resume your journey. I think maybe you all can't help but feel a little bit of comfort being so close to the towering evergreens of the Neverwinter Woods. Feeling like they provide some type of protection or shield from anything from the sky. But you see no signs of giant winged creatures, feathered or otherwise. And once again, it's another beautiful day. It's a little bit colder, like lower 50s now. The storm last night has brought in like a cool chill. And the terrain gets a little bit more mountainous, a little bit more wooded, a little bit more overgrown. Again, there's no one on the road. Another sign that these goblins raids have just sort of kept people off the road. You guys haven't seen any signs of goblins as you continue to scan the Neverwinter Woods on your left side. And it's another pretty peaceful journey. But as you get about like midday, early afternoon, you start to notice that the path is getting more choked with vines and roots. Definitely less traveled. It seems like travel between Tribor to the west has kind of stopped. And in particular here, it starts to get really, really thick.
I'm gonna give Pamela another sniff of the of Droop's belongings. I know.
Okay.
Just let's keep that in mind.
She kind of like sniffs the air a little bit, but just kind of like grunts apologetically, as though nothing nearby matches that scent, which makes sense. You're still kind of like out in the open.
Yeah.
And Drew did seem to indicate that the clans had various positions throughout the woods themselves. So maybe as you journey further into the woods, there could be the potential for her to pick that scent back up. But out here along the trail where it's still pretty open, uh, doesn't seem like she's getting any reads. Even as the path becomes more choked and you kind of like ask her again, and it does start to feel like you're entering the woods as the road almost kind of starts to weave in and out of the Neverwinter woods now, mostly just because again this part hasn't been tamed, and growth is finding its way out here. She still isn't able to catch it. And like I said, by about early afternoon, you still haven't found any sign of the farmstead yet. Just take a little break, stretch your legs, maybe eat a good berry, or dig through your bags for some rations, drink some water. And you figure you could maybe camp out here if you wanted, or try to keep going until you find a sign of Coneyberry. But you get a sense that it might start to be getting dark by the time you arrive. So you could either push through and get there at night tonight, or rest now and get there during the day tomorrow.
I think we should push through.
I mean, we're fairly out in the open. It might be best
I
to push through.
Dominic, do these specters, you seem to know a little bit more about them than us. Do the specters only come out at night, or are they out in the day as well?
Well, I guess I can. Let me think about that. Would I have known that kind of
Roll me.
details?
Let's do an Arcana check on this one, and it is an undead, so you would have advantage on this, I believe, right?
Yes, correct. Let's see. Advantage. Bam. I am rolling like garbage tonight. A 10. A 10. Well, I mean,
Day and night is tricky for you, Dominic. While you're aware of what they mean, and while you did have days and nights in your worlds, seeing blue skies and big white fluffy clouds and yellow sunlight was not something you saw very often in your life, if at all. Right? It was a lot of choking various elements, a lot of reasons to keep sunlight at bay. And so a lot of things just thrived in your time. However, there were still moments where you get high enough up, you get kind of above all the muck and smog of everything, and you could witness a blue sky and sunlight. So you were aware of it, you studied it, right? And I think even with the 10, you would know that it's not so much day and night, it's more about sunlight itself. That seems to weaken spirits. So if it was like a gray, cloudy day, maybe the spirit wouldn't be as weakened, right? But generally speaking, yeah, nights are when they would be more active.
So, well, to answer your question, Bernie, from what I've read and what I've seen, it seems they will be more active at night. So, getting there at night may potentially be more dangerous, depending on if this is, now we're getting into the territory of a wraith or a ghost or a specter. Wraiths are more aggressive, where ghosts are kind of more subdued. I without having talked to late Sister Aradel, I don't know what we could be getting ourselves into.
Aye.
But in general speaking, dealing with any kind of undead at night is usually a danger.
So you think we could still communicate with the spirit during the day?
It probably will be less aggressive during the day, but that doesn't mean that it's not any less dangerous.
Aye.
If things do get a bit airy, are rays affected by swords and arrows and things of the like?
Well, they are incorporeal, so probably not. It's going to be more of magical items or magic in general.
Right, not going to be much help then.
Well, I'm fine with pushing through if the rest of the group wants to.
Are they affected by fire?
I unfortunately never fought one, so I don't know. Books can only tell you so much.
Ko, do you know anything about this?
Well, I don't know for sure, but certain elemental properties may be able to affect incorporeal creatures. Not sure. They still exist on the material plane. Yeah, so it is possible. But thankfully, I've never seen a ghost.
I'm
I mean,
hoping we can speak
it's-
to your spirit
Yeah,
and find her in a calm place.
I hope so. Unfortunately, as of right now, where we are, there really is no safe space. We would be out in the open to whatever comes, and if we are dealing with another one of those rocks, I don't really want to be out in the open.
It's probably a good call.
Well, let's get a move on.
Right.
I do.
All right. You continue on and decide to push through. About an hour after kind of breaking to determine your next steps, getting into like later afternoon, Dominic, you had the passive perception of 14, correct?
Correct.
You notice a set of large tracks. Not in the road, off the road a ways, kind of headed towards the woods.
All right, well. Hold. I see some tracks heading into the woods. And I guess I'll kind of go up to the tracks and try to start studying them. See if I
Roll me a
maybe know what
survival
they're-
check.
All right. Do better, dice. All right. 22.
Yay, there we
There we go.
Hey.
You see Dominic kind of point out these tracks, and for most of you, they're actually kind of hard to see and make out.
You want it?
And as Dominic gets
You
low
want
and studies them some more, you take a minute and you find a particularly good footprint in some fresh mud from the rain the night before. And you are able to identify these tracks pretty conclusively as belonging to a troll.
Oh.
Awesome.
Seems that we have trolls in the vicinity.
Oh my.
A lot of big creatures around here, eh?
Well,
Oh,
if there are trolls, I don't know if goblins may have. We don't know if they may have captured them or what. Just seems like there's trolls in the area now.
Can you tell how recently this troll was in the area?
Well, from the mud, from the recent day, and they're fresh-ish, probably in the last day or two.
Easily made within the last 6 hours.
Oh, okay. Within the day. We may have just missed them, it seems.
Should we maybe pick up the pace a little bit if we can?
I agree. We should probably make haste and see if we can see the homestead sooner rather than later. I don't really want to tangle with a troll.
You guys decide to not investigate the troll tracks further. Can't say I blame you. And double time your approach towards Coney Perry, which you hope to find soon, as it does appear the further out into the wilderness you go, the more wild things do seem.
That breadcrumb was very enticing, but
about
trolls are scary.
About another 3 hours or so goes by. It's getting late in the afternoon, and the path is getting more choked, and you find yourself getting kind of almost pulled into Neverwinter Woods as this road runs up just alongside it and eventually becomes overtaken by it, causing it to feel a little later than it is as the tall trees cast long shadows over your path. The road itself, you see, begins to shrink kind of more into a small footpath. And just up ahead, you finally see the shapes of what appear to be several buildings.
That might be
There
it.
we go.
Oof.
Not loving that.
These buildings are now overgrown with lush vegetation. Crumbling homes and rotten fence posts crawling with vines and surrounded by overgrown and weed-infested lawns tell the story of a small village long since forgotten. Why are there so many sounds? Stop it. Sorry. Save a few noisy crickets and frogs and birds, the town is otherwise completely silent.
I think as we've been walking and making our way here, Stars has been like plucking on her lute a little bit. And you hear her like hum like a little melody. She takes out her lute and she looks at the party and says, I want to try to bring her out. Maybe peacefully we can get her to talk.
You're better than any of us at talking to people, so I trust you. And Bernie kind of like turns to the rest of the group. Do we think this is the place?
The spooky looking dilapidated buildings? Yeah, it seems like it.
Okay.
And you can see, like, with that comment, Dominic is on high alert right now.
Yeah, I think Bernie like stifles a belly laugh at his comment back to her, like, but also it's like, oh right, like this is serious, and like turns back to Koo and Kitland.
Well, keep alert and be ready for anything.
Right, maybe I should hang back just a bit and cover you from afar. I could even be your eye in the sky. Huh?
I think that's wise.
This is Kidland with real-time traffic. Your eye is
I'm gonna hang back.
Yeah. Cool.
And I'm gonna reach down into the saddlebag, pull out a little bit of hay, and get a big old huff, and and yeah, big sneeze and shoot my eyes out, and
At some
flip.
point, he's just going to contract hay fever, and we're going to lose him.
We're gonna lose him.
And I'll send them on up.
Okay. You send them on up, and you get a bird's eye view as you lift above the towering pines of what appears to be a very small, long abandoned farmstead. You see maybe 5, 6 homes, all kind of spread out. Pretty ample farm space that is just overgrown now with vegetation. Most of it appears rotted. It seems completely empty. The homes themselves are overgrown. You see crawling vines, creeping vines coming up the sides of the houses and onto the roofs. You can see where parts of the roofs have collapsed to weather and time. The only other truly notable feature is in the middle of the town, sort of surrounding or in the center of like all the houses themselves, the homes, is this like small well. But that's pretty much it. Just a quiet, dead town. Not even a town, a farmstead. Looks like several families farmed here.
I've heard many ghost stories in my day. I'm all saying this with no eyes in my head. The ghosts usually are hanging out inside the well, which is in the center of town. So Staris, I can only hold this for a minute. If you want to go ahead and play, I'll let you know if I see anything.
Sure thing. And Stars walks a few feet forward and starts to play on her lute.
Right before Staris starts to walk forward, Bernie just lightly puts a hand on her shoulder and like looks at her for a second. You're really good at this. And you can do this. And then she's going to cast Enhance Ability on Staris to give her Eagle's Splendor, which is advantage on charisma checks.
Oh, heck yeah.
Nice. So you guys all
I will also put a hand on Staris. What she said. Because I cast guidance.
You guys.
Dominic also puts it.
Yeah, Dominic also puts a hand on her shoulder and goes, yeah. But nothing happens.
It's so good.
You all give Staris your encouragement. As Staris, you begin to walk towards town, all of your companions following a few steps behind you. And you begin to play your song. As you approach what looks like kind of what would be the entrance to this small farmstead, you see almost ironically this rotted sign kind of leaning to one side that says, "Welcome to Coneyberry, home sweet home." And you can see where it was painted with like rainbows and sunshines, but it's just covered in grime and dirt, and all the color has faded as it just sort of leans slightly askew. And Saris, as you get to the edge of the town, you see all these abandoned buildings. You can see the well maybe 200 feet ahead of you as you begin to play.
Cool. Yeah, thought I knew how this went, and then I didn't. But she sings something to the effect of, Agatha, oh Agatha, please hear me. I want to set you free, free from your pain, suffering, free from your doubt and fear. Agatha, Agatha, please hear me. I want to set you free. To see if anything happens.
As you sing this beautiful, almost haunting melody, you hear stars. The sounds almost like somebody is standing right behind you over your shoulder. Whispering to you. And it seems to be calling you forward, pulling you towards the well.
Do I see anything happening in the well?
You see nothing. You all hear nothing. Only Staris hears this sound and feels this compulsion to move forward. This whispering, eerie sound, like it's trying to communicate to you. And if you just got a little bit closer, you might be able to tell what it is.
Staris takes a few steps forward and continues to sing her song.
You see Staris continue to walk forward and approach the well. Do the rest of you follow her?
I think Bernie's staying as close as she can to Staris when she's doing this, but just behind.
Okay.
Do I see anything, like look down at Staris? Do I see with my little ethereal eyes anything around her?
Roll me a perception check.
While Dominic is while I guess Starts is doing that, Domic's probably just going to be looking.
You don't see anything out of the ordinary.
Domic's going to be probably trying to track her. He's trying to remember his training and like, okay, this isn't good. She seems like she's getting pulled or something's compulsing her to go forward. I need to figure out what's going on.
To Domic, all it looks like is Staris just started walking into town to continue singing her song.
Okay.
Nothing seems weird.
Out of the ordinary.
Nothing seems strange to any of you.
I think he's just going to keep keeping up with Bernie, staying close but not too close to seem like a threat.
Staris, as you continue singing and continue walking towards the well, the whispers begin to get louder and louder. They start to make a little bit of sense if you could just get a little bit closer. Do you continue to sing and walk towards the well?
Staris continues to sing and see if anything changes. Maybe the voices themselves will become louder.
I guess let me know when a minute's up, Sean. If it's
we'll say the minute is coming to an end right now. If there's any last thing you'd like to look for.
I'll just keep it trained on the well.
Okay. You glance towards the well. You just see a black, dark, empty hole.
Okay.
Staris, you continue to sing, to belt into the song, asking for Agatha, and as you try to resist moving forward, you feel the whispers almost become angry with you and become more dissonant. And as you all sort of see Staris stop moving, now you can all hear the whispers behind you as well. No pun intended. And all of a sudden it sounds like somebody's standing right behind all of you, just whispering angrily into your ear. I need everybody to make me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Is it against magic?
Correct.
This would be considered a magical effect, yes.
All right, I have advantage on that.
Okay.
Same.
I do not.
Oof.
Do I? Ooh, 21! Yay!
Hey.
Nice.
Ooh,
19.
nice.
19, 21, Staris and Bernie. You guys hear Staris just stop singing. Her voice begins to quiver a little bit as she gets choked up on the last note she was singing. And Bernie, you just get this overwhelming sense of dread. The two of you are going to take 15 psychic damage.
Holy
Ooh.
shit!
I rolled really high on that.
Holy shit!
Are just instantly filled with fear and have to do everything in your power to get as far away from this well as possible. And
Oh,
you see
no.
Bernie and Staris both just take off sprinting in opposite directions.
Shit. As soon as that happens, Dominic is pulling his sword out.
Okay. Staris, what's your speed?
30. 30 feet.
Bernie, what's your speed?
30.
Both of them have sprinted a full 60 feet away in a matter of
Holy nuts.
And are
Oh
seconds.
boy.
And are continuing to run.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Guys, you have to walk
You're about to lose sight of them as they are. One is running straight into Neverwinter Forest, Staris, and Bernie is running like some of the homesteads towards like one of the empty farms.
Do I have any faculty over myself as I'm running?
You
or am
are
I...
filled with dread, and the
Dang.
only thing going through your mind right now is you have to get as far away from that well.
Okay.
I'm just gonna yell. I'm gonna yell.
You are
Caitlin,
running
go
on
after
pure
Bernie.
adrenaline.
I'm just gonna yell. Caitlin, go after Bernie, and I'm gonna take off towards Staris.
Okay. You guys.
Yeah, this is not charmed. This is just being
You are
feared.
Totally.
You are feared.
terrified.
Yeah.
You are 1,000% afraid of
Frightened.
whatever it is you just felt. And as you book it off, Caitlin, you follow Bernie?
No, Domic's gonna follow. Yeah, sorry. Domic's
Caitlin's
going after
following
Staris.
Bernie. Domic's
Yeah.
following Staris.
But on Pamela, so a bit faster
Awesome.
than.
Yeah, you kick Pamela, and Pamela picks up on all of this and just books it. We should have rolled a saving throw for Pamela, but we'll say for the sake of story, she succeeded. But the next time I ask for a saving throw and Pamela's around, Caitlin, I'm going to need you to make one for her as well.
Okay.
But it's all good. Pamela's made a certain stuff. She's not afraid of no whispers. She takes off after Bernie, and you are able to like catch up to her with ease, but Bernie is just continuing to book it towards this barn. Dominic, you are trying to take off after Staris. You just immediately start running after her. Go ahead and roll. Let's do a. Both of you make an athletics check.
All right.
Does that mean Koo's just standing in the middle of town?
Yeah, and
Yes.
you're just like
Who just-
literally like back and forth, looking at both of them. Like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And actually, Koo, as they both take off, and you kind of like look back and forth. Stars, go ahead and make me an athletics check as well.
There goes.
20.
20.
She is surprisingly quick, Dominic. And you're like kind of on her heels, but you just cannot catch up with her. And she eventually like gets into the thick of the woods. Do you follow after her?
Yeah.
Okay. I need you each to roll me I'll let you choose. It can either be athletics or acrobatics as it gets kind of like thicker in the woods, and if you can kind of move more deftly, around the trees, or if you're just trying to like bludgeon through it as the chase continues. Dominic, you're alongside Bernie. Are you trying to do anything to get her to stop running? She's just continuing to run.
Caitlin, you mean? Me?
Caitlin. So sorry. Yes, you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna take the grappling hook out and try to just like fish it around her strap on her sack.
Okay.
Wow.
Without chucking it at her, I'm just gonna try to like
You're
right
like
above her. I'm just gonna try to just hook her.
right, yeah. I totally get what you're trying to do. Go ahead and make me we'll say a sleight of hand check from you, Kitland. And yeah, I don't Bernie, he's not the source of your fear. You're just trying to get away. So just make me an athletics check and that'll be the DC. Because of just how hard you're running. Not that you're trying to
For
not
me,
that you're trying to
for me,
yeah.
okay. 15.
Okay, so your sleight of hand has to beat her. You're trying to clip it up, but she is running so hard. You're like trying to strain to catch up, and you have to like grab the reins again and like kick it in a little bit more. And she's continuing to take down the field. Back to Dominic and Staris. Athletics versus acrobatics, whichever one you want to do.
I did athletics.
Okay.
Damn.
So fast.
You get like up on her, and you try to like kind of wrap around her to like sort of like tackle her, just like stop her from getting even further away, and she like almost like jukes you and like spin moves out of your grapple and like twists around a tree and like cuts another direction and starts like running back almost towards town, but like still through the woods. Two, as you're
Doris,
standing
you need to stop.
in the middle of this, you see so like opposite the way you came into town, Staris ran to your left, Bernie ran to your right. You got the entrance to your, behind you. You got the well sort of just in front of you, maybe like, 40, 50 feet away. You're standing there and you see at like the far end of town on the other side of the well, going into the woods even further, what looks like this glowing orb of light, just sort of bouncing and hovering in the air just near the tree line.
Ooh. Oh, that is interesting. Nope. I'm dashing towards the well.
Okay, you're at the well. It was just 50 feet in front of you. You're able to get to it.
Cool. Is this well dry, or is
you
there
look
water
down into the well and it's dark. Do you have dark vision?
I do not.
You do not. So you look down and it is pitch black. You cannot see anything. However, you can smell the well. And as you lean over to look inside the well, you are hit with this pungent odor, almost like raw sewage. It's hard for you to like continue looking over. You almost have to pull back immediately. Like you feel like you're going to be sick. The smell is so bad. Kitland and Bernie, do you want to try to loop her belt again? You're like fully into this, like what used to be, it looks like a cornfield, but all of the corn is just like rotted. And she's like bursting through rows and rows and rows of these rotted corn. And thankfully, it's not like lush and green, so it's still able to like keep track of where she's going, but it would be so easy to lose her if this was like a fully grown farm. And it's massive. Now that you've kind of like got behind the farmstead homes, you can see like how much land they had once cleared out and used for farming. This Barney just continues to book it through this field.
Okay, I'm gonna try something.
Okay.
Oh God. Maybe I should just. I don't even think I should get fancy with this. I'm just gonna do it a regular. As we're running side by side, I'm going to touch Pamela and give her a jump, and then I'm going to jump 3 times at full speed in front of Pamela, or in front of Bernie. And I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you
post up
sail
Pamela.
sail through the air and like land in front of Bernie, and Pamela kind of like slides and like stops Bernie like in her tracks, and she just like for a moment freezes. And in that moment, Bernie, go ahead and make me another wisdom saving throw. This time with advantage as you're being sort of jolted out of your fear. Didn't even need the advantage. Let's
Hell
fucking
yeah!
go.
Hell, let's go! Let's go!
As it kind of shocks you, you like come to, like it almost like you blacked out for a second, and you realize you're in the middle of a field, like 300 feet away from where you were last remember being.
Where are we? Where is Stardust okay? What about the banshee?
Staris and Dominic. She is like you're weaving in and out of these trees. Staris like looks back over her shoulder at you, just fear, panic in her eyes, and she just like puts on like another burst of speed. Finally, like you come like out of the woods, and she's like wrapping around the buildings, like headed almost back the way you guys came, like back towards the Tribor Trail. Another athletics check. Sorry, your heart is beating so fast in your chest as all you can think is you have to get away.
Oof. Oh my god.
Wow.
Right. We both rolled 11. Jesus.
You like catch up to her just enough to get a hand on her shoulder and pull her back to you, and you as you pull her back, you can get your other hand on her shoulder just to try to like grab her and like get her to snap out of it. And in that moment, Stars, go ahead and make me a wisdom save with advantage.
Nice.
Wow.
You see Dominic staring at you, and like everything just like comes back into focus for you as you see a face you know and you trust, and that fear you feel just subside finally. And again, almost like you blacked out. Like all of a sudden you're out of breath, your heart's beating really fast, you're kind of like sweaty. Your legs hurt because you were running so hard.
Yeah.
And now you just see just like what just happened.
Yeah, I think Stars kind of just collapses probably into Dominic's arms and just starts crying.
Yeah.
For like a hot second.
I'm just gonna kind of take a nice big bear hug and just kind of hold her and be like, "You're okay, everything is fine."
This overwhelming sense of fear that overtook both of you, but that whispering sensation is gone. Ku, you even heard it for a second. You were able to resist it. And you're standing now at the well. You see nothing staring down into it. You smell this putrid, acrid smell, and you still see this orb of light just hovering gently in the air in the distance.
Cool. I call down into the well. Agatha, we are here at the behest of Sister Aradel. She cares for you. And I jump into the well.
Oh shit!
Who remembers Stars talking about just make sure we don't feel that we're afraid of her and we can reach her and like bring her out of whatever she's in.
That's amazing.
Hold on, I need a minute.
I'm gonna go pee. I'll be right back.
And next we have the triangle peg. And where does that go? That's right, you guessed it. The square hole.
Oh no.
Okay, I'm gonna refresh in my drink. I'm gonna roll another doob, and I will be back in 5 minutes, you guys.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break as well.
Yep.
Here we go.
Galen, I love the shit out of you, my guy.
Oh no.
Oh, are we taking a little break?
Bleh. uh, I think Larkin's player character is the witch in the well, the ghost.
That would be so cool.
Oh man, you called it, dude. Ooh. Hey, my pretties.
So good.
I'm excited to hear what she looks like and all. What her deal is.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Welcome.
That was wild. That was fun. That was cool
Yeah.
though. Like the visual of like Bernie running through this like dead cornfield, and then
I know. I love
then,
that
reaching over the
visual.
Triceratops. Like,
That was so cool. It was like playing out in my brain. I was like, oh shit, I can imagine this.
and like yeah, Dominic and Staris running around through the woods.
Yeah,
and
through the
Staris getting
forest.
so high.
Oh man. That was amazing. Super cinematic.
Yeah. Getting tackled by their own teammates, getting subdued.
Yeah. That was a great idea, by the way, Joe. Like, just
I
put
was
a
gonna.
wall in between me
I didn't
and.
know that you were gonna stop running, so I thought you were gonna smash into her. But I was thinking about putting one of the hay bales on the front of her nose horn and having you run into that.
Linebacker drills.
That seems like a little too fancy to just. I think I just need to jump in front of her.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened, though, I think, right? Like, Bernie, like, ran into Pamela and was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I think there's kind of like a bonk, moment for sure.
Who knew that jump would come in handy? So twice in one.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you Caitlin has picked some A+ spell choice.
Yeah, and I think you said with the ranger you can only change them when you level up, right? So we're sticking with jump and cut your eyeballs out.
I think it's and I think with rangers, I don't even know if they get like a chance to replace spells when they level up. Like you very well might be like kind of stuck with your choices. Which if you like absolutely hate something, like let's talk, because I don't ever want you to like feel like you made a mistake leveling up, and I'll look further into those rules. But
Yeah, I mean, I think they're pretty sick for what I'm trying to do. So,
no,
and also
they
like
seem to be working
if ever we get in like a dungeon, I need her to be able to jump over crevices that we've already encountered.
Yep.
So,
unless I give you like a Pokeball,
there you
a
go.
magical Pokeball.
Magical Pokeball. That'd be great.
Basically, what they did in Critical Role.
Really?
With
Yeah, I was
her
about to say
bear
with
companion.
yeah, she just keeps him in a
Trinket.
necklace.
I have something way cooler planned.
Yeah, it's just travel with a cow everywhere you go. Anytime you want to go inside, you cannot.
It's a really cute cow, though.
All right, once Zaman gets back, and I swear I just heard Abigail's voice, but I see that she's muted on Discord.
She's in there.
Maybe she's doing something and she needs to be muted for it. I don't know.
She's chatting with the
Farting a
other
whole
D&D
bunch.
group.
Yeah.
I don't even have to wonder. I can just go look.
Oh, excuse me.
She's texting. That's what she's doing, and she has her headphones on.
Ah, very good.
We're all talking about you.
Me?
Yeah.
What happened?
She said,
What?
I swear Abigail's back, but she's not responding anymore.
Sorry.
I
I said, I don't
just
even.
heard your
I muted-
voice.
I muted for a second. Sorry.
All good. All good. I think we're still winning on Zaman anyways.
Is that Joe, the 28 years later that don't boots on the ground, is that from all the movies or is that just from the
It's just from that trailer.
It's
like
really cool.
yeah.
I'm back. Sorry about that. My brother called
Next
me.
week, baby.
All good. Awesome. So Staris, yeah, you have a moment, right? Where just that fear was so overwhelming that you just overcome with emotion, and you know, Bernie, you just come to like this blackout moment. You've got, you know, Pamela and Caitlin like right in front of you, in the middle of a cornfield. What are you guys doing?
Oh, we've got to go help Koo.
Well, you don't know anything about Koo. You're pretty far away from that well right now.
Well, we know he's over there.
What
I'm
happened?
talking. That's me talking to.
Where are we? What's going on?
Well, you ran away, and we've
What
got to
do
get
you
back
mean?
to our. Well, you and Storis both just got scared as shit and ran the other way.
Well, hey, no time to think about what actually happened. Let's get back there. And I think Bernie, in like desperation, like she realizes that she has like fled from the scene, and that's the last thing she ever wants to do. And she feels like and in her mind, she has left Staris and whoever else is back there just like alone. And
you see Bernie just turn and book it, basically,
well,
right?
Bernie turns and then she thinks in her brain, speed, correct Roth, give me speed. And then she slowly morphs into the shape of a carriage horse and she takes off back towards the town. She turns into like a golden, like what do you call it? Not a there's a name for it, but yeah, like a bay horse,
Clydesdale?
like a bay horse, like Mustang looking gold mane, gold coat horse.
Like Shadowfax, but just pure gold.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And yeah, Bernie, like you see, like Kitlin, you see Bernie just like think like, where am I? What? And like realize that exactly what she said, that she has just abandoned, her friends in a very dangerous moment, and just turns and starts running. And as she runs, like she does that thing where like, like she's like pumping her arms, but then like kind of like falls to the ground and starts walking on all fours, and like takes the form of this massive, like just muscular horse, and just chews earth, hightailing it back to the town. You giddy up, Pamela, and follow.
When my eyes were up in the sky, did I see any like vantage points that like looked into the town to the well that were not like entering the town itself? That's not the main road.
No, it's all farmland, so it's all pretty flat around here.
Okay, I don't want to go down the main road. I'd like to go to the right, like off
You're
the
like
right
in the
side.
middle of like a cornfield right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I want to
like-
gallop back towards town, but
Mhm.
not taking the main road. So
Yeah, you could cut through the field, like back to the house, and then come around the house into town, like that way. Which is
yeah,
more or less the path you took.
well, yeah, I guess as far right as possible, and then I want to stay on the edge of. So whatever that looks like.
You want to stay on the yeah. Like
All I'm doing, I'm just trying to stay on the edge of.
Oh my God,
It keeps
it
cutting
puts it
out
right
right
there.
as you say where you want to go to the edge of.
I do not want to enter the town, and I do not want to be on the main road. I want to go as far right as possible, and
Gotcha.
still be able to see the well.
Gotcha. So as Bernie kind of just makes a direct path back to the well, just like I said, chewing earth through this dead cornfield, just in a straight line, you kind of flank around the right side, taking the longer path, where you can kind of go past like the farmstead a little bit, and use more space to try to get the well in view without just like marching blindly right up to it, essentially. But it is like, like it is still like a small, like essentially cul-de-sac of farms is kind of how I imagine it, but pretty well spaced out, right? So you could probably get like a good, like we'll say 200 feet like off before like the well comes into view as you like flank around, if that makes sense. Like you'd still have to kind of go to like the town center to see it, but you can use like the houses as cover, the little homesteads as cover.
Okay, cool.
You do so.
Yep.
Dominic and Staris.
Mm.
Intense moment.
Yep. I'm just kind of let Staris
What
get over
happened?
whatever she needs. Well, all we know is you and Bernie were getting close, and then all of a sudden you had a wild look in your eyes, and both of you took off in opposite directions, and I made a split decision to follow you.
Okay. So they're still back there.
As far as I know. Well, Bernie went off the other direction. I told Kitlin to follow her, and I took off after you. Hopefully Ku is still safe, but we need to get back there as soon as possible. Are you okay?
I will be, but yeah, let's get back.
All right, let's head back the way. And I'm gonna make the shortest distance to get back.
Okay, yeah, you start kind of leading her back. She basically kind of took like a big loop, like around to the side, so like, immediately ran through and then kind of cut back to the woods towards the homestead, so y'all are a little bit closer.
Okay.
But both Staris, Bernie, and you, As you go back, Stars, you're kind of like fast hiking with Dominic, making a beeline back to the well. Barney, you're hoofing it quite literally. You both have like a splitting headache from
Yeah.
just the initial onslaught of fear and psychic torment that you underwent. So even though you're pushing yourselves to do the right thing, there is this like overwhelming kind of pain that you are just pushing through. Two, you
Yes.
leap over
Yes.
the side of the well and plunge into darkness and
Yep.
fall for a couple of seconds before you splash into freezing, icy, cold water. I am going to. It was a pretty long drop. It was about 60 feet. You dropped before you hit this
Okay.
water.
60? Holy shit.
60
Okay.
feet down. I'm gonna roll some d6s because you are gonna take some bludgeoning damage from this. However, because it was
No,
water,
I won't.
oh,
No,
you're
I
not?
won't.
Yeah, Featherfall. As I mutter to myself.
Oh, very good because I rolled super high.
Yeah, perfect.
No, I won't.
Oh,
You start to plummet and you cast Featherfall and you kind of like ping off of the walls a little bit and bounce off and maybe even try to like slow your descent by like holding yourself up against the wall, but you can feel how slick and slimy and grimy and wet and smooth it is. And as you're like kind of pinging back and off the sides, you have the horrible sudden realization that it will be impossible to climb out of here. And you slowly descend into this water, and going in slowly is almost worse because you feel how freezing it is the second your toes hit. And the smell is overwhelming. I need you to roll me a Constitution saving throw.
my specialty.
Hey!
Yes.
Nice. I need to find that size. You're gonna take 3 poison damage as the odor is just overwhelming. It's stinging your eyes. It's making you gag and hard to breathe. And you are now treading this freezing cold water. All of the edges are smooth, and as you look up, there is just a like pinprick of light shining down on you as you realize how far down you are. Does Ku want to do anything other than panic?
Can I swim down?
You take a deep breath and go underwater and start to swim down. What is your Constitution score?
15.
So your modifier is +2.
Correct.
You can hold your breath for 2 minutes.
Okay.
Make me an athletics check.
Can I give myself guidance? Can I pet myself up a little bit?
Yeah, I'll say you can. I'll say you can do that. I'll allow it.
And that
Kinda
was
cast a
athletic?
spell as you- Wait, is there a verbal component to guidance?
Oh, yeah.
Then you cannot.
Fair. Doo-doo. All right. And that was athletics?
Athletics.
I mean, maybe if he just entered the water.
Wow, a straight
Yes,
14 roll. Nice.
You swim for 30 seconds, and you have not hit the bottom yet. At this point, Bernie, you have arrived to the well, and you See no sign of Kill. Or
I-
Stars, or Dominic. Nobody's anywhere.
Okay. Nobody's anywhere. Okay. I.
And you turn behind you, and Kitlin's not behind you anymore.
Okay.
You're all alone at this well.
Bernie unwild shapes. She drops her form, drops her draft force, looks around for a second. Hello? And then casts fairy fire all around her. And honestly, Bernie knows that the well was kind of like the destination, so she's gonna cast it, and it's gonna be a 20-foot cube, just around the well. And she's attempting to just light anything else.
The well.
Yeah.
Okay. So the well itself, you can see there's no like roof to it. There's no like crossbar or bucket and rope that you normally see with wells. It's literally just a small ring of stones, and actually most of the stones have crumbled away. So they're probably only like 1.5 feet high at some places, maybe up to like 2 feet in others. But like it's literally just like a shitty ring of stone surrounding this deep pit. So you cast the fairy fire around it, and some of the stones around it, illuminate. There's like a small like axe handle that was like off on the grounds that illuminates as well. A bit of broken glass, but otherwise nothing.
Okay. I think Bernie just calls out again. Dominic! Staris! Kerr!
At this point, you see Dominic and Bernie. Oh, are you still a horse?
No, I
You
unwild
just
shaped
neighed
so that
really
I could.
loudly?
No,
Oh,
I unwild shaped so that I could cast
yes,
fairy
the
fire.
snob. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Cool. You cast
Yeah.
fire. You call out, and at this point, you can kind of see across the way, like off in the distance, kind of going around one of the buildings. You spot Pamela and Kitlin like a good 200 feet away, trying to get like a better vantage point on the well from a distance. Ku, back to you. You've swum for about 30 seconds. Do you want to keep going?
Yeah, let's keep going a little bit.
You're starting to feel the strain a little bit on your lungs. Roll me another athletics check.
Boop. Oh,
Ooh.
not good on that one.
You swim for another 30 seconds. You have not found the bottom. It's really starting to get harder and harder to hold your breath. You're not sure how much longer you'll be able to do it. Now, knowing Dylan, 2 minutes, you're gone a minute down. You're going to need at least a minute to get back up.
Yep.
Do you want to keep going?
Jeez. Yeah.
Roll me another athletics check.
Oh God.
You swim for another 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And you finally feel the bottom. At this point, Bernie and Dominic, you see the well, and you see Bernie like calling out for you guys as you kind of like round this little dilapidated home, and she comes into view.
Hello?
I'll call out to Bernie. Bernie, here we are.
Dominic! Who are you with? Are you with anybody?
Stars. Stars, I finally caught her.
You turn Bernie and you can see Dominic and Staris. They're just, coming around the side of the house now. And you all kind of link up.
Kitlin is right behind me. He should be coming as well.
Where's
Where's
Q?
Q?
That's not a good sign if none of us know where he is. And
I
then
think
I guess
Benny wants-
Dominic will slowly turn towards the well as the only point that we could be.
Ku, as you hit the bottom, you feel just like grimy, like murky earth, essentially, just soggy, land. What are you looking for? What were you hoping to find down here? Or trying to do, I guess.
I want to ascribe at the bottom of
like it's pitch black, right? So you're just kind of feeling around, right?
Yep. Yeah. I could pull out my magical wizard quill good enough to copy these 3 lines down at the base of
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. What are you copying?
with my magical quill. I am ascribing the deity that's at the bottom of.
We're having a lot of jankiness tonight.
Yeah, it's breaking up, Dylan. We can't.
Yeah, I got the deity at the bottom of.
Yep. So, all right.
So you can't see anything. You're functionally blind right now.
Right.
And I know you have a magical quill that's able to do some pretty fancy stuff.
Yeah. I want to, with my magical quill and my calligraphy skills, where I could probably write something blind anyway.
Okay.
Just ascribe the 3 radial lines from Sister Eridel's deity at the bottom of all of this grime.
Okay. Cool. So you take a moment to kind of like offer some kind of like worship at the bottom of this well. And you take out your pen and you start to draw the circles. You don't need your eyes because again you've written without seeing so many times before. And you trace out this large sigil down at the bottom of the well, kind of moving around the bottom. As you finish it, your hand hits something. It's something kind of hard. And as you like start to feel around what it was your hand hit, you realize you're like holding a human skull.
Ooh.
And wrapped around the neck of the human skull, your hands close on a chain. Like some kind of necklace. And it's at that moment, Ku, that you run out of breath.
Oh no.
What are the rest of you doing up around the well? Kitland, I'll say from your vantage point, you've seen Bernie, wild shape from a horse back into her normal self. You heard her cry out. You saw her reunite with Dominic and Staris. Roll me a perception check, actually, Kitland.
4.
As you focus on that well, you see nothing out of the ordinary, and you see that they've kind of turned their attention to the well. There is no sign of Ku. Yeah. what would the four of you like to do?
Ah,
I mean, Dominic is going to be searching around trying to figure out anything that happened with Ku. Did he leave any trace of
Yeah.
himself? Like, what happened?
Roll me an investigation check.
I
oh,
think
yeah. Like looking around for tracks to see if we can see where he went.
17.
Okay. Staris, if you'd like to roll a survival check as you look for tracks.
18.
Nice.
You
Yeah.
both immediately just start searching around the well. As Dominic's eyes fall on the well, Staris, you kind of follow suit. And you both spot them at the same time. You see Ku's footprints planted firmly adjacent, facing the well, like toes towards the well, and just end there.
Zara sends down dancing lights
He would
into the well.
jump.
You send dancing lights down. What's the range on those?
120 feet.
They go down about 60 feet before hitting the water, and as they hit the water, there is no sign of anything.
You don't think he went down there, do you?
I mean, that's where the tracks lead.
I don't know.
Where's that grappling hook?
I think he had it in his pockets. As Dominic's gonna continue looking around, he can't fathom who jumping down the well. Like he's just like, no, there's no way. Like something must have happened, pushed him, scared him. Like he's gonna look around for some other explanation other than who jumped in the well of his own accord. He's still
as you
very
continue to
much
look using the save you had. There doesn't seem to be any any signs that indicate anything else could have happened to him. There's nobody around who could have pushed him. You don't hear those whispers anymore. Nothing makes any logical sense to this. Who, as your hands wrap around... Oh, Caitlin, I'm sorry. Did you want to add something?
I was going to say that seeing no sign of Ku, no sign of enemies, and now Star sending the light down and them looking at the ground and then back down the well, as being the only person with a grappling hook on them, I'm going to kick Pamela into high gear and go to the well.
Well, you see, Caitlin starts to haul ass back towards the well. Ku, as your hands wrap around this necklace and you kind of start to realize what it is you might have discovered, you hit that moment where you absolutely need to take a breath, and you are effectively choking right now.
Bring it.
When a creature is choking, it can survive for a number of rounds equal to its Constitution modifier. Your modifier was 2, I believe, correct?
Correct.
At the start of its next turn, it drops to 0 hit points and is dying.
Oh shit!
You have 2 rounds to swim the length back up to get to break the surface. So you will need 2 athletics successes in a row.
All right, perfect.
The DC is 10.
Huh.
Okay.
Oh my god! Sean, you told us that somebody might die. This is not how we were gonna die.
Roll your
All
first athletic check, Ku. Ku.
Okay.
Okay.
Ku, I'm sorry, that was acrobatics. I need athletics. If your
Oh,
modifier
God,
is
no.
Oh
I'll
god.
allow you to keep the roll. If your modifier
Nope.
is the same, I'll allow you to keep the roll.
Oh
Oh
my god.
Would you? I will take a moment before we roll your next athletics check to remind everyone that we have not used the golden die yet.
Ooh,
Use
yeah.
the
let's-
golden dice. Use the
Yeah.
golden dice.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go
Yeah.
For it. Yeah. 100%.
Sure.
100%. Yeah.
Ah!
Okay.
Ooh.
Two, you
Oh
start
my
swimming
God.
as hard as you can. You can feel like the veins on your head starting to burst, like you want to take a breath so bad. Everything in your body is telling you to breathe as you just find whatever energy you have left to just keep swimming. Keep swimming. You think you see the faintest glow of light just ahead. I need one more athletics check.
Oh God. Oh no.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Holy crap.
You start to breathe in water because you cannot hold your breath a second, a millisecond, a fraction of a millisecond longer, just as your face breaks the surface of the bottom of the well. Just the biggest gasp of air you possibly can.
And so we can see him now because we have the light down there.
You see just this face emerge out of the water 60 feet down and can hear his gasp for air echoing through this long 60-foot tunnel back to you all. Every part of your body aches, and it's taking all of your energy to just be able to tread water and hold this position, but you desperately need help because you will not be able to keep this up for long. Especially with your fist clenched tightly around this object in your hand.
Can I just like dead man float?
Roll me a survival check.
I'm really good at this. Let me cast fire.
So good.
No,
Hey,
we're good.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yes, you can. And you remember, growing up in the Dales, you swam in rivers and lakes all the time. Like, you got this. You're comfortable in water, and you just know that, like, as long as you've got a little bit of surface, and you can control your breathing and get it steadied again, you're able to float, sort of take that pressure and strain off of your muscles and give them a break. And you see Ku just kind of floating, just catching his breath, staring back up at you guys. And you see he puts his hands on his chest, and as he does, you see something shimmering in his hand, a piece of jewelry. And that is where we will end tonight's session.
God.
Ah,
Oh my God.
Holy cow!
that was
Dylan.
fantastic.
It's amazing.
Ku, you crazy son of a bitch.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Like my
So
heart is
scary.
beating so fast in my chest right now. I'm like, oh god, are we gonna lose somebody?
I mean, he would literally fall unconscious and so I have to start rolling death saves while underwater.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God.
like-
And none
we
of
didn't
us
know where he
having,
was.
yeah,
Yeah, none of
having
us
any
knew.
way.
Unless one of you dove down in there after him, I was gonna be like, I mean, you drowned.
Yeah. That,
Right.
Holy
We're like,
crap.
that's where the tracks lead.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
We look at each other and go, he jumped in. Like there's no other explanation. Oh my
Right.
god.
Oh,
Wild.
wow.
So
That was
good.
amazing. That was
Pretty
amazing.
good.
Oh my
That was the
god.
opposite of fear.
I mean,
Stars let us know that we had to be brave, and that was just what we're doing.
Oh, that was awesome, Sean. Thank
holy
you.
crap. Thanks. Yeah, good job everybody.
Yeah.
So I think we're good for